Hey.
Hello everyone and welcome to another stream. How's it going? For costume day you picked a dinosaur, so I thought let's be thematically appropriate. Today we're looking at dinosaur denialists, or as they would call themselves, dinosaur truthers. How's it going? It's not Tinfoil Tuesday, but I still wanted to cover something conspiratorial and fun, so we're gonna polish off some dinosaur denial videos and have a good time. Talking about them, talking about why they're not real, laughing at them, probably. So, cool beans. How's everyone doing? Annie McKean with 21 months says, Happy Monday, Hannah. You're doing awesome. I haven't done anything yet. Thank you, though. H. Baird with a YouTube link that I will take a look at. Thank you, everyone on YouTube, by the way. If you could do me a favor and like the stream, it would help me out a lot.
Dinosaurs.
Let me pause the music.
Cool. Transphobia is not. That's it. That's the video. Please comment it. Dinosaurs are cool. Transphobia is not. That's it. That's the video. Please comment it.
True. Alright, here's the guy that scared you with the hay.
Hey, Fred Flintstone. Do you believe in dinosaurs? I honestly don't know what to think anymore. Forever I believed in them, and then I didn't, and then something opened my mind to them again, and then I didn't. So I want to legitimately start a chat in this video.
I don't understand why anyone thinks they can legitimately start an intellectual discussion about anything on the internet. It's the internet. It'd be like trying to have some sort of intellectual symposium at a bar at 2 a.m. Like, what are you doing? Everyone's just ridiculous. Stop it. You're not having productive conversations. I'm not having productive conversations. We're just shit posting. It's just a constant Ouroboros of shit and memes and rickrolls.
After I present you some evidence to both directions, and I want you to...
Both directions. We're both sidesing the existence of dinosaurs. Great, great. Glad to be part of this enriching discussion.
let me know what you think.
Hey, Carb I'm good. How you doing?
Let's start off, as I often like to do, with what the mainstream says. And
the mainstream says about dinosaurs.
Mainstream says...
H. Baird says the original Greek meaning of symposium was a big drinking party. Well, there you go. We're going old school.
Says that a giant comet came 66 million years ago and wiped out all the dinosaurs. I can tell you one thing I believe, and it's not that. And I think those thoughts...
Well, that's not one thing you believe. That's the opposite of one thing you believe.
Are especially backed up when you look to see that they were fact-checked. And they even admit that the dinosaurs in the museums aren't even real, that they're just made out of lighter materials and they're models. So
what do you think the casts are of, sir? Of actual fossils. They're models of actual fossils. And you can see actual fossils in many museums.
I'm sitting here.
I think the Fields Museum, for instance, I think has an almost full T-Rex.
Realizing that the story I thought I knew about dinosaurs my whole life might be a little different or not even true. And then I'm looking at this post and he says something to the effect.
Yeah, his hat's an ice wall thing, so he must also be a flat earther. Shocking.
Of the mainstream would never tell us how big dinosaurs actually are. And he's showing all these scales that literally are this big. So I start...
Wait, why do you think this is a scale? This is rock. What do you mean this is a scale? Why do you think this is a scale?
Thinking, oh, maybe that's what the true story is. Maybe dinosaurs are much, much bigger than they tell us. But then I did my research and explored that area, and what I found was a giant outlined in red and blue, and the wing actually spreads up there, but a giant, giant dragon. So,
Oh, okay. So fossils fake because they make copies of them for museums, but dragons real because you drew a picture that you think you saw because your brain is a stupid human brain, like all of ours, that sees patterns where none exist. Cool. Glad we're on the same page.
so then I'm back to thinking, okay, dinosaurs didn't exist. However, then you come across this painting done in 1562, and just at first it looks like just a painting. But then you zoom in and you see some things in the background that look suspicious. Now, if this painting was done
I didn't believe in dinosaurs until I saw a painting that may or may not be from the 1500s that vaguely had Brontosaurus in the background. I don't know. Fossils are one thing. All that physical evidence seems bullshit. But I did see the Da Vinci Code, so paintings are good evidence for history, right? Jaden with 40 bits says, I was literally making a joke about how this guy couldn't believe in dinos but believed in dragons, but this guy's so dumb he beat me to it. Drives me fucking Google debunkers. Some people, I saw someone like saying that earlier. Is this a reference I don't get? Baja with 155 stream streak, goddamn. Do we have the mountains are fossils giants guy who always points at his screen with the feather? I didn't pull any of his stuff for today, but Roger of Mud Fossil University, he's into giants and stuff. I guess I don't know if he directly thinks dinosaurs aren't real, but he certainly thinks dragons were. Bumble Homestead says, does he think they had giant snails the knights could fight?
in 1562, and dinosaurs had never been discovered.
Milo Mini Minuteman started the Google debunkers thing? Okay, I haven't seen it.
Then what are we looking at there? Those don't look like camels. Those look like legitimate dinosaurs.
Those are the two options, camels or dinosaurs. There are no other potential options. Fun fact.
So then my brain goes to, okay, I know there were dragons here.
They don't even look like dragons. If anything, they look like some sort of brontosaurus. I don't think that's what it is, whatever it happens to be. But they don't look like dragons, even if you're gonna do the whole seeing things where they aren't. They don't look like dragons. Bittergrin says there's a TikTok conspiracist who calls everyone who critiques him Google debunkers. Oh, funny.
And dinosaurs weren't here 66 million years ago. But maybe dinosaurs did exist on a certain level. Maybe they are creatures that were left over from the Nephilim creating different hybridization species. I don't know. That's where I'm at here, is this painting is what throws me off a little bit. And maybe this is a fake painting, like AI can create anything these days and they can just put a stamp on it and say, yeah, this is from 1562. So I don't know. I'm literally left here wanting
Ashley
to have
One Up says, fiction and imagination, nah, must be proof of dragons.
in the comments, start a debate. I know these guys are real. There's just too much evidence of it. Evidence like this and them saying that this is a dinosaur head when clearly we see that's a dragon head.
You can tell because of the way it is. What do you mean what do you mean you can tell that's a dragon head? It's literally the thing they say it is. What do you mean you can tell it's a dragon head? Your only frame of reference is fiction. So what are you talking about?
And them saying that this is a dinosaur head when clearly we see that's a dragon head. Evidence like
he's played Skyrim, so he's an expert.
This fossil that was found recently that they even said was a dragon. Evidence like the Chinese zodiac using a dragon and
Zodiacs never use mythological creatures. Messy Jaden says, how in the world could anyone in Dragons based on how cracks on the ground are ancient AI paintings but can't believe in dinosaurs from literal bones?
Dictionaries from that.
I don't know. People are confusing. People are frustrating.
1946.
Rayline with a link we'll look at in a sec.
Saying dragons are now rare. I know giants existed too. So dragons and giants, they're real. I know it.
Oh my god. We're not playing bingo, but that would be giants on the bingo card. Fenekigami says, on the subject of internet discussion being unproductive, a manga guy I keep track of seems to be cope posting since the trial, and I have to keep reminding myself the guy is fishing for a reaction from people like me. He's also been posting at least one dog charity thing a day since the Dog Killers book came out. Ooh boy. Hype Train, 23% to level 1.
Debunkers are quick to downplay.
Yeah. I actually like this guy. I remember. I'm sorry. I did watch this, but I was like playing a video game at the same time. So I think I selectively forgot.
Any new evidence that comes up.
Google debunkers.
A side of the pyramids the Google debunkers don't want you to know about.
The Google debunkers. The Google debunkers don't want you to know about this. The Google debunkers are trying to cover it up. The government is full of fucking Google debunkers.
Google debunkers.
Google debunkers.
Google debunkers. Google debunkers are quick to downplay any new evidence that comes up.
Google debunkers.
Any new evidence? Jesus Christ. People who intentionally push conspiracy theories online genuinely frustrate me to no end. Like, they make me mad. And I try to remain, like, pretty, blasé, funny here on the stream. For the most part, just because it's an entertainment thing. We're trying to hang out. But genuinely, they make me so mad. You have no idea. And then there's the snails link. Let's take a look at that. Why knights fought snails in the margins of medieval books. I love the little margins that, like, monks did. So cute. Jaden says, it's a fucking rock. Do you think the giants got fucking Medusa'd? It's a rock. Was that a power that all Gorgons possessed, or is that a Medusa thing specifically? You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be offensive. Like, I don't want to assume all New Yorkers have spider powers just because Spider-Man has spider powers, you know what I mean? Just Medusa? That's just a Medusa thing? Okay. My apologies to the Gorgons.
But what about dinosaurs? I really want to know what you guys think, because to be honest, I'm not 100% sure myself, but I would love to hear from you. So light up the comments and let me know. Oh, and yeah, dinosaurs definitely real. Dragons and giants, fake. This was all for entertainment purposes, obviously.
Fucking hate when conspiracy theorists vaguely say shit like that to try and cover their ass. Everyone knows what you're doing, but also it just verifies or tries to self-confirm this sense they have of, like, persecution, when in reality it's like, hey, you know why your shit gets taken down? 'Cause you're liars that lie. And I don't care if the lie is to yourself or to other people or both. You're lying? Fuck you. Jaden again says, if there are so many giants turned into stone, where's the giant stone dicks? Have you seen Roger's video? 'Cause boy, does he have some stone dicks for you. 35% to level 1 on the hype train with a minute and a half left.
The first theory of dinosaurs was 1842. That's 12 years before the first dinosaur bone was ever found.
Huh?
I don't believe in dinosaurs. I just think it's some bull. To be completely honest with you, I just can't fathom a T-Rex walking around here. Something that man ain't never seen. No, but dinosaurs never walked this earth. The government make us all the time, bro. If you want to be ignorant and believe in that, it's a man ain't never seen before.
The government didn't make up dinosaurs. What are you talking about?
That's on you.
Minute left on the hype train.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Godspeed podcast. I am
Hey,
Joe
Jalen.
Guy.
And I am Danny. It's everything.
I like your shirt, bud.
You like this?
I do.
Cost me $3,000.
I don't care about your interpersonal parasocial bullshit.
Emerald
Talk about your stupid theories.
child.
As a child. Yeah, because that's what they wanted.
I was obsessed with him as a child. I had like all the toys, the books. I could spell all the different dinosaur names.
Could spell the different dinosaur. How dare they try to teach me to spell? Breaches and Hose with 50 bits says, excuse me, had a coworker years ago asked me out of nowhere if fossils were real. His justification was that he never found one. Did he look? Did he spend a lot of time looking? Like, how did he expect that to work? Bittergrin says, the government made up dinosaurs to hide the existence of kaiju. Jaden with 290 bits says, do people really not understand this shit? You can go to museums and see them. Some even let you touch them. When will these mouth breathers do the bare basic bullshit? Sorry, this gets me worked up. It's actually the point of this stream is to just raise everyone's blood pressure. My show is a psyop by the government to sell blood pressure medication to leftists.
You could spell all the dinosaur names.
Yeah, you know, like, you know.
You could spell them.
Yeah, because I can't now. But I could then, you know?
Okay. All right. That's a good skill. Do you use that skill now?
Only when...
Spelling is a skill. Like, I'm not a great speller. I can talk endlessly. Spelling's a different matter. I'm really glad my lifetime and spell check intersected, because, oh boy, historically I would be doing very badly.
When I'm... No, I do not. Nope. I couldn't even come up with something.
Yeah, I get it, because dinosaurs are fake and gay.
Hold on. Where do you think...
Why does my screen keep going all green? I don't get it.
Fossil fuels come from?
Is it a joke or is my screen literally going green? Because I don't see it.
Oh, we're getting into that, buddy.
It's clearly pockets of old dinosaur...
Happy Pride to you, too. Happy Pride to anyone who didn't see me yesterday.
Juice.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get into that. Don't you fret. Don't you fret.
Wait, is that a real theory? Because I just literally made that up.
What?
Fossil fuels are dinosaurs?
That's what they tell us. It's dinosaur juice.
What?
No, it's actually made of plant matter, mostly, is my understanding.
Yeah.
No,
the idea that it's actual, like, dinosaurs is a misnomer, because when people think fossils, they think dinosaurs, when in reality, dinosaurs are a small fraction of fossils, right? Ashley OneUp says, I found fossils when I was 8 years old on the beach. The UK is great if you want to find an ammonite or two. What, are they planted inside rocks by government agents? I don't know. Because, like, I found fossils a few times in my life. Plant ones or the shell ones, you know? Penakagami says, speaking of new evidence, that MAGA I mentioned shared an article about this anthropologist has presented evidence that, if true, would completely rewrite the timeline of the history of North Americans. The article quotes his frustration of presenting information that is counter to current understanding, and MAGA idiot tried to do a narration about how academia doesn't want to change from the liberal agenda. But from what I read, I think the guy is just dealing with peer review. Yeah, that's part of it. Yep. If you make something that's unprecedented as a statement, you need to back it up. Daima Oni-chan with 27 months, that's a sub, baby, says, it always astounds me when religious people don't believe in dinosaurs, especially when they attribute them to the devil. It's like, you're telling me that the devil can build more awesome creatures than God? Sounds like God needs to learn from this. It's true. True. Learn from him, rather. This sub baby's name is going to be Dr. Dino MD. Dr. Dino MD.
Yeah.
I literally
remember
just
that
made that up.
Remember that gas station with the dinosaur as the logo?
No.
What is it? Don't have any phones.
Is that from a different universe that we merged into? Because I don't remember that.
No, you do remember it. Hold on.
Dude, you didn't even know the misnomer. Like, you didn't even know the concept of fossil fuels. I would have accepted the falsehood that it's made of dinosaurs over you just not having any idea where oil comes from. Like, at least one is in the vague general, like, area of the truth that you just kind of need to be like, actually. The other is clearly you just have a lack of knowledge about the world around you. And you immediately, your response is, did we go into another universe? No! You're ignorant! You're in this universe! And ignorant!
It still exists, dude. There's still gas stations. Sinclair.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, you have.
That's my cousin's last name.
You've definitely heard of Sinclair.
Nope.
I think there's still some in Texas.
All right. Never seen
Right?
it before. Never.
You never seen that logo?
Mm-mm.
100 years.
Okay.
It's one of the first gas stations.
All right, cool. Never heard of it.
All right. Okay.
Oh,
Is it just me, or does the guy on the right give a vibe of, like, has no interest in anything? Like, I know it's not a big deal, it's just a chain of gas stations. But I don't know, I feel like if I don't know something and then someone explains it to me, I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know. On some level, it feels like I integrate that into my brain somewhere. I feel like this conversation, even though it's over nothing, it hit him like a brick wall, and he's like, whatever. I'm judging a lot based on very little, but I don't know. The vibe. I'm the conspiracy theorist. I'm judgmental.
Okay, bud. Okay. All right, so do you know when the first dinosaur was discovered? Or Fari. I said Fari.
Safari?
Do you know when the Safari? Do you know when the first dinosaur was? All right, yeah. Do you know when the first dinosaur was discovered? That's a better question.
Daima Oni-chan says, finally a doctor in the family.
1873.
You're pretty close.
I'm pretty
close.
smart. I'm pretty smart.
Yeah, 1854.
Off by a month or two.
They didn't know it was a dinosaur bone until 1856. But here's the catch. The first theory of dinosaurs was 1842. That's 12 years before the first dinosaur bone was ever found.
Yeah, that's definitely not true. People had writings and experiences of finding fossils prior to that, prior to, like, it officially being brought into, like, whatever. I forget what it was called. The, United Kingdom Science, whatever. The organization that was involved in a lot of these early, like, dinosaur fossil hunts and stuff. The Royal Science Academy? Something along those lines. It might have been when they first got an actual dinosaur bone, but there had been, like, known fossils and stuff found prior to this. There's actually theories that that's, like, where a lot of the dragon myths come from, is people finding, like, fossils and stuff. The Royal Society, thank you.
Huh?
Yeah.
Doesn't include footprints, fair.
Sir Richard Owen of the Royal Society.
Ashley One Up says, dinosaur fossils have been found by humans for as long as there have been humans. We just didn't know what they were, so we made up myths about dragons, giants, and other such monsters to explain them.
And he was also superintendent of the British Natural History Museum. Theorized about dinosaurs in 1842. The first dinosaur teeth, it was a few teeth, were discovered by Ferdinand Vanderveer Hayden. He found a bunch of teeth on the Missouri River. Okay, he mailed them into.
Starry Night says, scholarly descriptions of what would now be recognized as dinosaur bones first appeared in the late 17th century in England. Part of a bone, known to have been a femur of a megalosaurus, was recovered from a limestone quarry at Cornwall near Chipping Norton, Oxfordshire, 1676. Oh, okay, so he's just lying. Cool.
Joseph Leidy, and Joseph Leidy 2 years later said that was a dinosaur. It was an old ancient giant lizard, and he named
Eustace says, in ancient Greece they thought elephant skulls were cyclops skulls. I remember that from my zoo books. Does anyone remember zoo books? I had one of them on elephants.
Named the teeth a tracheodon. Okay? A tracheodon means rough teeth. That's what it means. So the first dinosaur was a few teeth, and it was named after the word rough teeth. Rough teeth. There was never any civilization ever in any country ever, Native Americans, pygmies.
Again, he's just lying, saying that no one ever found dinosaur bones before. They didn't call them dinosaur bones. They didn't have the taxonomic classification of dinosaurs, but they were aware of these fossils. Harold Elbelman says, quick heads up about an actual liberal agenda. The whole Ask Columbia Law Review website just went down in order to censor one article toward Nakba as a legal concept. Here's a permalink to the PDF. Fuck censorship. Cool beans.
None of their writing on rocks or any of their history were...
Writing on rocks. Jesus Christ.
There any evidence of...
That's a level of, again, ignorance and disdain towards indigenous groups of people. Oh my goodness.
Them finding dinosaur bones. Ever. Until the mid-1800s when these people found some in the Missouri River. A few teeth. Does that make any sense to you?
No.
I'm sorry. Just as a co-host, he's so low energy. He's not a good co-host.
No. Shouldn't, because it's dumb.
It's dumb. Got him. Okay, I'm gonna move on to other people, because, like, genuinely, they're just frustrating me, and they are, frankly, just black holes of charisma. So, I'm gonna go ahead and move on.
You have to know a hoax when you see one, especially the dinosaur hoax. To this very day, nobody has ever even excavated a complete dinosaur skeleton. Hence, the various species of dinosaurs are all artist imaginations. Before the 1800s, nobody ever heard of the word dinosaur. They do, however,
I mean, yeah, they came up with the name dinosaur.
mention giants and dragons, but that's wiped out of your history books, his story books. Nor had anyone anywhere ever throughout the ages discovered a single dinosaur fossil. Just
Again, that's not true.
giants and giant creatures. You know, never a dino.
How do they not stop and think, like, the giants and dragons were the ancient people's way of justifying and trying to explain the dinosaur bones that they found? Like, how do they not get that our understanding got better over time and not worse? Why do they have an inherent trust and belief that the older stuff is better? I don't understand.
Dinosaur, though. This includes every culture across Earth, from Native Americans to ancient Egyptians. The prehistory monsters seen in museum exhibits are all plastered casts. Real supposed dinosaur...
Okay, but what do you think a cast is? A cast of a fossil that actually exists. The real thing exists.
bones are only allowed to be seen by a special...
Mabray with 28 months says happy pride to you as well, and Procagon with 50 bits says because old equals correct.
group of government agents called paleontologists.
Government agents called paleontologists.
And only special ones
I feel like they'd probably get paid better if they were government agents.
are able to see these supposed bones.
Procagon says, know who's really dumb? Newborn babies. Who's really smart? Old people.
The ones that you see
A baby is never voted to take my rights away. I'll have you know that.
in the museums are fraud, you know? The entire dinosaur industry is big money propaganda.
The dinosaur industry is incredible. The dinosaur industry.
Created as a way to validate...
Like, if you just wanted to create a fictional thing to sell products, he's aware you can just do that, right? Like, nothing's stopping you from going out and inventing dragon shit. Like, if you just wanted to sell people shit, you can easily sell them fake shit. Like, you could have made up dinosaurs as a fictional thing to sell to people if that's what you wanted to do. There'd be no reason to make them real if they weren't, you know? What sense does that make? Italian Shakespeare with a 3-stream streak, thank you.
Darwin's...
Like, I don't need to think that the Avengers are real to enjoy the Avengers. If anything, I enjoy them more because they're not real, you know? Like, Tony Stark would be a pretty shitty person IRL, you know? But he's fictional.
False theory of evolution, keeping your whole mind just completely dumbed down and enslaved, and keeping humanity thinking they evolved from bacteria monkeys. The
I love bacteria monkeys.
inventor Sir Richard Oren, my friend. Straight inventor. A Freemasonic Illuminati high priest, just so you know.
A Freemasonic Illuminati high priest.
This dinosaur thing is an absolute hoax. Even the etymology of the word means to twist and waver fear over the mind. Even Greek.
That's not the etymology of dinosaur. What is the etymology of dinosaur again? Terrible lizard? Something along those lines? Stone Corbell says, Bacteria Monkeys is my pop punk band name. Not bad.
It means terrible hatred. Saurus meaning
again
lizard. So lizard people, reptilian people.
Terrible lizard, yeah, okay.
DNA manipulation.
Wow. I'm glad we're not playing bingo. He'd absolutely be killing it right now.
I'm sure you've seen of shapeshifters and reptiles and reptilian people and real people that live to be hundreds of years longer than humans and use humans as a food source. I mean, the shit goes deep, so deep. Look at Genesis 1:20 to 1:30. Think about the thing, like, think about Noah taking 2 of every animals in his time, just not dinosaurs, right? But dinosaurs, you know, made in China, fossils. All the fossils are made in China because
they're not.
Dinosaurs, it's a witch's brew, my friend. It's big oil and mind control. You know, gasoline is an infinite resource on Earth.
I promise it is not. I promise First of all, gasoline is it's not a resource. Gasoline is a refined product. It's a petroleum product. You're talking about oil, though. Oil is a non-renewable resource on a human time scale. Human beings, as a civilization, not even individual level, human civilizations do not last long enough to wait for fossil fuels to replenish. So they are non-renewable resources. Okay? Cool.
Not dead dinos, you know, so they can put they can put big numbers on their big oil industries that they use to enslave entire countries under and with, right? So there's millions and millions of missing links. If you look at museum dinosaur bones, they're like whales and alligators, giant people, like giant femur bones, plasters.
That's not a dinosaur bone, that's a giant people bone.
Lizards, CGI, even...
Can't believe he doesn't think triceratops aren't real.
Things that go as far as trolls. All this stuff came out about trolls, and then a troll movie comes out on Netflix. Anyways, this is page 63 on Unlocked Mind. Check it out. You can find it on www.flatearthfightclub.com. Blow it up. Share this. Dinosaurs are a hoax. Big rabbit hole.
Wow, this guy needs like a lot of help. Unironically, hope he gets it, because holy crap. Let me save this channel real quick, because it isn't... I don't think that's this guy's original channel. Someone else posted his content, so I'm going to save that channel, because they got a bunch of other people on it. Okay, what's next? Oh, and Benjamin is always a pain in the ass to listen to. So let's do that, I guess.
I'll do an episode on that.
Hmm.
But today we're focusing on dinosaurs. Okay, let's talk about dinosaurs. There's no such...
Tea Time Tea says, hell yeah, dinosaurs, my favorite topic. Happy Pride, everyone. Right back at you. Fenakagami says, the reverence for old knowledge comes from their anxiety of changing in chaotic present and future. They don't want to accept that knowledge and society generally, and on a long enough curve, get better, because then they would have to accept that their resistance to progress puts them in the wrong side of history. Plus, most of these people are religious. Myths like dragons are just stories. What does that say about their religion? Okay, fair. All things to consider.
Such thing as fossil fuel. People always say, why would they lie? Why would they lie? Well, let's start off with, they said that oil comes from dinosaur bones.
Again, no. You're misunderstanding in your pop culture. There's a pop culture belief that they come from dinosaurs. No. They come from, like, organic matter that has been converted over time into oil. Not dinosaurs. It is mostly plant matter by mass. Hydrate can do. Lennon Cat says, unrelated, I had to fact check, do men position their penises up or down in their underwear for work? I had to provide actual citation of evidence. It probably goes without saying that men on Quora use the opportunity to show their bits.
And a lot of people don't believe me that that's what people used to say. It's the reason it's called fossil fuel, is that...
I feel like people in chat are going to give us their opinion.
66... Notice the number.
It's going to be clear, the answer is it's going to depend on the person. It's going to depend on the situation, too. There isn't a boilerplate answer for that.
I'm not a numerologist. I don't believe in the number stuff, but they do. 66 million years ago, the dinosaurs were wiped out. And Saurus means lizard. George Soros, Soros, lizard. Not a coincidence, guys.
Literally, George Soros wasn't even alive when dinosaurs were, like, discovered as a taxonomical classification and given a title. What are you talking about?
So, all of their decaying...
You read the Trump Kids book? Yeah, I have it around here somewhere, probably over there. But there is a Trump Kids book that's like Flintstones, but Trump, and there is a Georgosaurus, and it is George Soros, but as a dinosaur.
Rotting flesh and bones became oil. Do you guys know how...
Again, you have a misunderstanding. You didn't even take 5 seconds to look this up before you did this video.
How many intact dinosaur bones have ever been found?
What is boilerplate standardized?
Class? None. Do you know how many dinosaur skulls have ever been found?
Several. Nicolas Cage got in trouble for buying one. He's gonna say 0, which is a lie. Again, they're common enough that Nicolas Cage got in trouble for buying a stolen one. They exist.
Class? None. They've all been speculated based on a tooth.
Again, he's just lying or genuinely so ignorant and confident that he doesn't know he's lying, which is sadder.
We'll get into the bones very soon, but this is a fact that there are...
It's not.
Exactly. 0 total intact dinosaur bones. Oh, big bad. They might be missing one. There's 0 skulls.
Wrong. Penekagami says he's being anti-Semitic. He's saying the Jewish cabal named the dinosaurs after some Jewish tribal name. Oh, I understand. I get it. He's an anti-Semite. For those that don't know, Owen Benjamin, the guy on screen, former stand-up comedian and actor, full-on raging anti-Semite now, and conspiracy theorist.
Petrification and fossils don't even make sense. Yeah, there are fossils, but, well... You know, we know how old that layer of sediment is because of the fossils that were in it. And we know...
No, that's not how that works.
How old the fossils that were in it because of the layer of sediment.
No, that's not how that works. Ashley One Up says the reason oil and coal exist is because for the first few millennia after trees evolved, there wasn't the bacteria and fungi around to wreck them, to break them down. They hadn't evolved yet. So all these trees got buried under muck and slowly were converted into other stuff.
That's called circular reasoning. And if you have a basic non-graveled education, you can spot it like that. They know how, oh, this layer of rock is 1 million years old. So that means that these fossils are 1 million years old. How do you know that layer of rock is 1 million years old? Because the fossils in it are 1 million years old.
That's not how they can know. There's a variety of ways that they could test and figure out how old a certain layer is. There are different forms of radiometric dating. There are different geological, like, truisms that say, like, hey, the age of this thing is going to basically look like this. This kind of material ages like this under these conditions. Again, it's a whole-ass study. They're not guessing.
I thought you said that's how you know how old the fossils are. It's a beautiful circle of nonsense. Dinosaurs went extinct because they all got right. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys so that when people call you stupid, you can just go, I'm not just going to say this based on speculation. I'll show you exactly how unbelievably stupid it is. And for people that now will not believe that everyone said oil came from dinosaurs, one of the reasons they made this hoax is to create a narrative that we were going to run out.
No, I didn't beep him. Someone else did. Moira Soma says 350 near-complete dino skulls have been found as far as Google could tell me. You're just a Google debunker, though? Did you know you're not allowed to use the most popular search engine on the planet? Because someone will call you a Google debunker. And that's an insult for some reason. Fact-checking's an insult now, I guess.
Out of oil.
Steve of the Q says, so today I learned about boilerplate can mean, aside from standardized language or an actual steel plate for a boiler, hard-packed snow? I didn't know that.
Why would anyone do that? So that they can raise the price of oil. It's called false scarcity.
He's so dumb. You don't need to make up a story if that was your goal. Even if that was your goal, and you had some plentiful resource, but you were evil and had complete control and wanted to come up with a story, you don't need to make up a bunch of creatures to do it. You could just come up with some technical reason that it's difficult to obtain. Like, just as a heuristic, which I know is just a tool, it's not like some perfect thing. It would be simpler to lie about, oh, it's just hard to get mechanically, than to say, oh, it comes from creatures millions of years ago. If that weren't true, there's no reason to go there mentally and make that up. Makes no sense. Lennon Cat says, during the rush to discover dinosaur fossils, two of the biggest names were competing to find the most, and one man named Marsh actually destroyed at least one site after he got everything he could transport in order to prevent others from getting to them. It was called the Bone Wars. I'm familiar. Very, very fucked up behavior. Bittergrin says, DuckDuckGo also confirms dinosaur skulls have been found.
If you understand how markets work, it's supply and demand. There is an amount of demand, which can be manufactured by media and marketing manipulation. And then there's supply. So you have 10 hamburgers, and there's a lot of demand for hamburgers. And then it goes to 1, the price of the hamburgers goes up. If there's 100 hamburgers, and the same demand is there, the price goes down. If there's 100 hamburgers and you say there's only 1 hamburger, and it's impossible to make more hamburgers because there's only hamburgers because a bunch of lizards died 66 million years ago.
But that doesn't have a material effect on demand. That doesn't make any sense.
The price skyrockets.
That doesn't make any sense. You didn't make any material change to the actual supply or demand. What? What are you talking about? Just saying, what?
Permanently. Voila.
So you're just going to say that and then raise the price, which is going to have an adverse effect on demand. Again, he's saying the words supply and demand, and he knows that that's economics. Like, that's part of economics, but he doesn't really know how to apply them, because in the scenario, all he's done is had them say something that has no actual material effect on the supply or the demand. It doesn't make sense. God damn. Fenekagami says, not only that, but there's a specific amount of time it takes for new soil to be produced. I assume that's oil. You know, the way old things get buried in the first place. You know, the thing that you can literally observe happen after a house exists for a few decades. Extrapolate that out based off of how deep things get buried, and you get a nun magic. Guess how old thing is, and that method still says Earth-chan older than 6,000, Benny boy.
And here is an old commercial. They used to put dinosaurs.
Again, that's marketing. Do you think that this gas station's marketing is science? It's a gas station logo.
Right on the oil commercials. For those of you that go, how dare you? Here we go. This is Sinclair.
From Symphony Hall, a very special performance under the baton of the distinguished guest conductor, Dino.
Oh, you did mean soil because he was talking about the dating of different layers.
There's a nickel in it too.
So does Owen think that if you see something in an ad, then it's the consensus of the scientific community? Like, he thinks that pop culture, commercials, anything that's shown to you in any context, that's what the current scientific understanding is. Huh. Strange.
Nick Fuentes. Yeah. Nickel, 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 nickel.
Red Pirate Mix says that signage is why the family in the show Dinosaurs were named Sinclair. Oh, that makes sense.
Nickel, nickel, nickel. Okay, so understand that
the only gasolines with nickel compound.
The only gasoline with nickel compound.
Engine wear as much as 29% or more miles per dollar.
Lies.
Get sparkling performance in your car.
Lie.
At the sign of the Sinclair Dinosaur.
Yeah, I took that off too quickly. Just look at this. All right, so it's the only one to have that magic nickel. Guys, this is...
Hannah Littlefoot died for our sins. Oh God, what is this gonna be? Don Bluth gonna make me cry? Oh no, this is an hour long. The truth about dinosaurs from the Creation Truth Foundation. Thank you for the link, although it hurts me. Fenekigami says, of course he does. He thinks it's all controlled by the same group of people. Remember, competing interests don't exist to people like him. You know?
Not new. These people just lie all the time.
We've got news for him about Winston taste, don't we? Winston tastes good like a cigarette should.
Money and power.
Cigarette ads have been banned for decades. And that's going to be stuck in my head forever still. I was not even no! I'm pretty sure when I was born in 94. There were still some cigarette ads, right? Maybe not on TV. Definitely like posters and stuff though. Huh.
Watch.
Liquid nickel cuts engine wear as much as 29% or more miles per dollar. Get sparkling performance in your car at the sign of the Sinclair Dinosaur.
How dare you? I love the how dare the guy question. How dare you? So we all know now that putting nickel in your gas doesn't help at all. But, you know...
You're telling me a 1950s advertisement wasn't entirely honest? I'm shocked.
Look for that magic.
An advertisement during any era, quite frankly, it's an advertisement. They're gonna lie to you to sell you a product. I know this. I'm drinking a Coca-Cola, the company that basically invented modern advertising.
They had to erase it because it's so stupid. Because not only is there not a shortage or a limit of gasoline or oil, we just keep getting more. You know, they'll pump out an oil field and then...
What I don't even understand is, even based on his own beliefs, he recognizes it needs to be taken out of the ground, so there's still constraints on things like labor and materials, which is going to lead to some sort of supply shortage. Just realistically, because you're going to have to hire people in order to do the work, to get things out of the ground, to use the equipment, to design the equipment, to maintain the equipment. Like, all of these things are limiting factors. So even if you thought that there was a ton of it, it still wouldn't be infinite and free? I don't understand his worldview.
20 years and dry, and then 20 years later, it's full again. It's not from dinosaurs, guys. And it's so obvious.
It's not from dinosaurs. It's from organic matter.
That they had to erase that entire narrative. Can we get a rebroadcast? Hang on. I'm gonna read the ones that do a lot of lemons. Can we get a rebroadcast of this stream? Yeah. Unauthorized.tv, but I leave it up here for as long as they let me. I think it's 3 days. And follow all my clip channels on YouTube. And, yeah. Your mileage may vary. Lemon, all right. 29, what's that? It's coming straight from... Yeah, 29 adds to 11, which is the start of a spell. I don't believe that, but they do. And it does work for them. We'll get to that. I bet Nick gets a lot of liquid nickel. Yeah. Yeah, he does. Him and MTV. Nick Fuentes, MTV. MTV, Nick Fuentes. It's hilarious. All right, so...
I wonder how Owen feels about Nick Fuentes' recent, accidental viewing of gay porn on stream. You guys all saw that, right? Nick Fuentes accidentally was, like, at the end of stream, he forgot to hit the quit streaming button, which, by the way, this is a fear I and every other streamer probably has. I literally will, like, I will not, like, after stream, I often want to, like, you know, take off the costume I'm wearing or the bra or whatever. I literally will not do it unless I'm over there outside of the camera area, specifically because even if I'm sure I've ended the stream, what a nightmare to think you've ended the stream but not, and then you're doing something inappropriate on stream. Whatever. So anyway, Nick Fuentes accidentally broadcast himself jerking it to gay porn on stream, which is unfortunate for him because he's a Nazi, and they're usually not openly okay with gay porn. But of course he's blaming, not kidding, he blamed Israel. He said Israel hacked into his computer and made it look like he was looking at gay porn. So.
Most dinosaurs, if you just Google this, this is like what Google considers fact. It's they put it in the info as soon as you Google something. Most dinosaur bones discovered are highly radioactive. Because of this, the bones displayed in museums are covered with heavily leaded paint.
Benegami says, Hannah, it's all about him trying to justify why the world doesn't have to change, especially not change in a way that makes him specifically uncomfortable. Either the world can stay the same or we need to bring the Reich back. It's conclusion-based thinking. He's working backwards and no deeper than that. It's a fair assessment.
Mainstream scientists explain this phenomenon by citing elemental uranium deposits in Colorado and Wyoming. These deposits were formed during the Jurassic Age. Okay, so let that sink in. So these bones are in the...
I mean, I don't know if he was on camera jerking at Harold Edelman, but he was looking at porn recreationally. I'm gonna assume there was some action happening.
Ground all the time.
I don't think you sit there and watch porn and just appreciate it for very long, right? Maybe for a bit, but, you know.
They're just always there. And they're not even...
It was not artistic, is what it wasn't a thing where it was like, oh, this is just, like, nice. No, it was hardcore, so.
They're fossils. They're just imprints of where bones were... I'm just going with what they're saying. It's all nonsense. Try and understand 1,000,000 years. Understand 1,000 years. You know, America's only been here for, you know, a few hundred years. Now go 1,000 years. You know, have you ever seen a book from, like, imagine, like, the Magna Carta. You know, 1,000-year-old document. Ooh. Now picture 2,000. You're going back to the age of Jesus Christ. That's
the only thing that was happening on Earth 2,000 years ago. Just Jesus stuff.
So long ago, you get a...
What was happening in China? Who the fuck cares?
You know, the shroud...
What, a dynasty? Probably one of their dynasties. Either the kingdom had broken apart or come together recently. That's Chinese history for you.
Out of Turin or something.
And lots of bureaucracies.
It's like, whoa. Now go back. Now double that. And double that. And double that. And double. Now go back 10,000 years. 50,000 years. 100,000. That's 50 lengths to Jesus Christ. Now 10.
Imagine measuring everything in time by how many Jesuses away it is.
Of those 100,000. That's just 1 million. And they say all the dinosaurs have been gone for 66 million. How would they know a fucking... They don't know a thing about what's happening right now in Syria. And it's all lies. Look at how the media will cover something from a week ago, let alone 100 million years ago, based on...
I don't think the media usually covers things that happened 100 million years ago.
An imprint in...
This is making you want to go on a historiography, anthropology rant.
Stone. Okay, I'm trying not to be condescending because it's so obvious to someone like me, but I'm trying to walk people through this, that they say that the bones are radioactive. And you can actually, according to this, check this out. Okay, so the deadly truth about paleontology. Paleontology may seem like a tame, safe science where only the studied objects are dead, but beware. Certain aspects of paleontology are just as dangerous as letting an inquisitive tortoise near your testicles or getting your finger between a frog and... Okay, they're saying that being a paleontologist can give you cancer because it's radioactive, which is why they have to cover the bones with paint. And it's why in museums, 100% of bones are fake. You've never seen...
Again, no, they're not. No, they're not. They literally just said ones that are out are painted. The ones that are models are casts of real ones.
Dinosaur bone. In fact,
like, they don't want to have real brittle fossils out in the open. They're being stored elsewhere in the museum or other museums.
They're not available to the public because they're radioactive. 66 million years ago, they claim, a meteor hit the Earth and was so violent that it created radioactive, in just the bones, not the dirt.
Wait, does he think they're saying that it's radioactive because of the meteor? He thinks that the meteor caused radioactivity. No. Nope. There's just a lot of geological stuff that's radioactive. What are you talking about, Owen?
Around the bones. That's fine. You can live in Colorado. You can live in Wyoming.
I think that would be a lot of fun, Profane Priestess. I know we briefly talked about it the other day.
Utah. No problem. But the bones you see, I'm not being sarcastic. I'm literally trying to tell you what their argument is. But the bones, which aren't bones, the bones have been gone for millions of years. It's the imprint of the bones that have been fossilized, which is just stone. There's no, there's no flesh or DNA in any of it.
That's what fossilization means.
Obviously.
The organic matter has been replaced by inorganic matter.
Hang on, 65 million. We're going to get to that. Even Chernobyl wouldn't be radioactive. Chernobyl isn't radioactive right now. Radioactivity isn't real.
Warning, that's not true. Radioactivity is real. Radioactivity is real. For the record, warning. Chernobyl is a dangerous place. Fenekagami says, does he not know that historians don't speak prescriptively for this exact reason he's pointing out, because there's shit we don't know? Anthropology is about generalities. He doesn't know. He doesn't care. Pterodona says, tell that to the Russian soldiers that tried to camp there. Oh, I remember when that happened. That was hilarious.
That's a whole other... See, that's the thing, is when you understand a lot of these lies, you can put it together and see right through it very easily.
That's actually permineralization rather than fossilization. Permineralization isn't required for something to be a fossil. Well, I apologize then. What's the exact definition of a fossil?
Chernobyl isn't radioactive right now.
Again, it is. Like, there are areas that are hotter than others. You can go be a tourist at Chernobyl now, but you're only supposed to go in certain areas with a guide, and they have a Geiger counter with them to keep an eye on things, and you're only supposed to stay there for a certain period of time, because the low-level radiation, relatively low, is still high enough that you shouldn't hang around.
Guys, that was from the 80s. Anthony Bourdain.
A fossil is a trace of something biological that's more than 10,000 years old? Okay, thank you.
Dane went there and did a cooking show. 3 Mile Island in Pennsylvania isn't radioactive right now. Hiroshima and Nagasaki, there were functioning trains the week they claimed to drop atomic bombs. Don't believe anything with space or radiation. Oh, thanks for the diamonds, by the way. Uncle worked in a uranium mine 50 miles outside of our town for his whole life. Hang on. He had a normal amount of arms. Yeah, guys, it's all about energy. Hang on, let me slow down the chat. Or no, I can speed up the chat a little. Let's put it at 60. No, I'm not going to be. I'm going to put it at 66 seconds. 60 seconds. All right, so you can talk more. It was at 120. The Grabber stories are. Wow, my eyes hurt. Just wait. It gets even more insane. Supposedly they have found a bone with red blood cells in it. Of course they won't. Right. Imagine when they say they found. Bury an egg in your backyard and check it out in a month. Now apply that to 100 million years. I hate doing this, guys. It's so...
The conditions in your backyard, like a foot under or whatever you dig, isn't going to be the correct conditions, most likely, for the process of fossilization to take place.
Oh, exhausting for someone.
Like, it's pretty specific circumstances. That's why there's so few fossils relative to the number of people or other animals that have died throughout history. A very, 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 very select few will be under the right conditions to be fossilized.
Like me, but this is going to help a lot of people see through it. Okay, they say that the dinosaur bones are radioactive and they will give you cancer. So that's why they're made.
Could give you cancer, yep.
You can't make this up. They're made out of ground up chicken bones from China. and then they put lead enamel over it so you don't get cancer.
You're confusing two different things. Now you're confusing the actual fossil with the reproduction. No, the reproduction isn't radioactive. It's a reproduction. It's a mold. It's made in a mold that was taken off of the original.
And you're never allowed to see any of the bones, and no complete skeletons exist, and there are no dinosaur skulls. Guys,
there are many dinosaur skulls.
I used to like dinosaurs so much that I currently have stuffed animal dinosaurs from what my mom made me as a child, and my son still plays with them. What do? I say the pterodactyl is a hawk. And I say, look, it's just like a hawk. I just have made the tradition. And the other one's a funny monster.
That poor kid.
Lizard. Because there are Komodo dragons, stuff like that. Like, giant, scary lizards do exist, but the dinosaur story is beyond nonsense. So then what happens? Here, this is according to Smithsonian.com. The anatomy of dinosaurs. Despite the rarity of
they're bleeping the word sex?
direct evidence, paleontologists know quite a bit about dinosaur gonads. Here's a pair of Tyrannosaurs, T-Rexes restored in the act at Spain's Jurassic Museum. Okay, so they're miming in a museum that children go to. Why? Why wouldn't you? If you were
sex is a part of life, my guy. It's not inappropriate inherently, especially in the context of dinosaurs. Procreation is why we're all here. Be an adult.
For these guys,
I don't think anyone's gonna be titillated by the dinosaurs fucking. It's fine, I think.
They invent a whole story that's nonsense. Those bones right there, those aren't real bones. Those are chicken bones ground up and put together based on nonsense.
Not nonsense.
Who first coined the term dinosaur? It was Sir Richard Owen of the Royal Society in the 1840s. Based on what, you ask? Nothing. They had not discovered any bones. They created it. Who did he do it with? Aldous Huxley's grandfather. Who is Aldous Huxley, you might ask? Aldous Huxley wrote A Brave New World. He's a science fiction writer, and he comes from a bloodline that goes back in England that's very close to royalty, and it's about energy and power cartels. So they come up with the thing called dinosaurs. By the way, this is mainstream history. Mainstream history, guys. So when these newspapers want to shame me and say, oh, Owen thinks that dinosaurs is a Smithsonian lie. It is.
I like that he said that like it was ridiculous that we would call him that, and he's like, but it is though.
Sir Richard Owen.
Benekagami says why they should simulate is dinosaurs ripping each other's throats out. I mean, that would be pretty cool too.
Named with Aldous Huxley's grandfather came up with dinosaurs with no bones in the 1840s. That's it. That's when it all started. How many bones have they discovered since then? 0 complete skeletons and 0 skulls.
They've found plenty of skulls. In terms of complete skeletons, don't know about that one. It varies from a few bones to almost complete. We're lucky we get any. But the thing is, for a lot of dinosaurs, you'll find different individuals of the same species. So you might only get 50% of this specimen and 50% of this specimen, but, you know, you'll get bones in this one you didn't get in this one, and then you can look between the two and fill them out. Like if you found, you know, let's say you were an alien and you'd never seen humans before, so you don't know what they look like, but you find 20 different partial human skeletons of different bones, you could put it together and figure out what humans were like, more or less. Same thing with dinosaurs. You might not have an entire individual and all of its bones fossilized perfectly, but you'll get, you know, part of one here, most of one here, maybe a little bit over here, and then by comparing members of the same species, you can create a full picture, or at least a fuller picture.
How many partial skeletons of T-Rex do they even claim? 12. Okay, total. It's all numerology, guys. This is all...
The name Dinosaur was chosen because Owen was being a propagandist and hated paleontology. Is that true? It's actually pretty funny.
This is all a spell, and that's why they have to stick to numerology. So,
ooh, a spell. H-Baird says, also, most animals on Earth are symmetrical, so if you're missing the left arm bones, a mirror of the right arm bones will be pretty close. Yeah. Fennikagami says, haven't they found like a few complete skeletons? Like, I know they're rare, but I doubt we've literally never found them. I would say yes. I don't know for sure though, and I don't want to say yes. At minimum, we found ones that are almost complete. So his whole thing is at minimum misleading, if not an outright lie.
Oh, much.
He chose it because he was an arrogant prick who wanted to piss off his compatriots, from what I remember. That's funny. Never underestimate the pettiness of human beings.
Okay, so what do we have here? Where is it? So what caused the extinction of the dinosaurs?
Do dinosaurs have bacula? Isn't it baculum? Whichever it is, I think most mammals do. I think humans are an exception.
Look at the numerology, guys. And I don't believe it's from God. I think it's from man. But look at it. The extinction was caused by the impact of a massive comet or asteroid 6 to 9 miles wide 66 million years ago, which devastated the global environment mainly through... Okay, they claim that chickens are now dinosaurs, that it evolved...
Chickens and other birds evolved from dinosaurs, they believe. That's my understanding.
They evolved to chickens, but yet they claim they were sent extinct.
Yes. Other species that evolved from them are extant, but dinosaurs are extinct.
Incalculable amount of time ago that happens to line up exactly.
But do dinosaurs have bacula? I hope so. I hope it's Scott.
With Talmudic and Kabul numerology spells. Right? Do you not see that? They are chickens. They're chicken bones. They're making bones out of chickens. I'll just make claims. Just go look it up. There are 0 complete dinosaur skeletons. They say you can't examine the real bones because they're radioactive. That's why
you can't examine the bones because you're an idiot. You don't get to touch them because you aren't qualified. Even if they did have the ones out, you can't touch them, Owen. What information would you glean from holding it? You don't know anything about anything. You're just a Nazi piece of shit.
Have to put lead paint on it. That's an obvious lie that your common sense will tell you. Every site that they find dinosaur bones is somehow completely controlled by the Smithsonian or the Carnegie Foundation or the Rockefellers. Okay?
No, it's not. Random people find fossils all the time.
Okay. If you talk to any engineers, they will show you that the dinosaur legs would buckle under those proportions and their insides would fall out based on their on the engineering of their rib cage.
The engineering.
No real bones, no real photos, no guys. And then I'm going to show you something very interesting. So 66 million years ago, and then of course it plays completely into the fear that at any time, doesn't matter how big and strong you get, an asteroid can come anytime and wipe you out. Now give us money. Oh.
That felt a little revealing of his own psychological state, that's even a thing that goes into his brain.
What about this? All this oil? Oh, oil only comes from dinosaur bones, and they've been wiped out for 66 million years. So it's really rare. And so give us money. Give us like a preposterous amount of money. And then the Rockefellers, Carnegies, and Smithsonian will spend the next, and the Royal Society, started by Sir Richard Owen and the grandfather of Aldous Huxley, are going to start the whole idea of a dinosaur without any bones. And we're going to push it on everybody that only began in the 1840s. Now give us money. It's like, and every time people find bones, they're not allowed to, unless they're based on funding from the Carnegies and the Rockefellers.
Again, no, people find fossils.
And give us the money. And if you find a bone, don't touch it or look at it and run away because it will give you cancer. Not the food or the water or the in the sky. No, none of those things give you cancer. None of those things give you cancer. It's
more than one thing can give you cancer. Like something being a carcinogen is a descriptor for a reason. It's not a quality of only one thing.
66 million year old. I know I sound sarcastic, which I don't like. Guys, this is what they're saying. This is what they're saying. They use dinosaurs to brainwash into thinking we came from gorillas. Yeah, it's so massive that people just shut down. When you say, 66 million years. People can understand 1,000 years. It's a mind-blowing amount of time. Okay. Farmers don't get as tricked, because when you say, oh, we discovered dinosaur eggs from 66 million years ago, you're like, an egg doesn't last a week underground.
Yeah, it fossilized. Again, it would be under very specific conditions in which an egg can fossilize, not just your yard.
And then it becomes a stone? Like, every day we see that this isn't real every day. If you are in the natural world, you know, one of my chickens got taken out by a hawk the other day, and I burned their bodies because I don't want to attract coyotes. But like, if I just left her on the ground, oh, well, they have to fall into tar, and then they become stones. And if they fell into hot tar, it would burn. It's like, so a dinosaur falls into tar, and then it's the perfect temperature where it just takes away the skin, and then it preserves them, and then it becomes stone, but it's still intact, and it's like...
It's interesting when people who are ignorant about how something works try to mock the thing, but they don't have enough information to actually mock it, so they just vaguely mime verbally in the direction of the concept as best they understand it. But his only understanding of fossilization is thing becomes stone, so he literally can't criticize any of the actual details. He just has to say it in a silly voice, and that's the whole argument, for lack of a better term. Because he doesn't have the knowledge to even critique it. It's just, he finds the concept funny because he doesn't know about it. Benikagami says, hey Owen, what about the conspiracy of conservative dark money? Some of it tied to the fossil fuels that partially launched your career. Why don't we talk about that shady shit? H-Beard says, let's all pool our money and get a bunch of dinosaurs and prehistoric mammal bones, then bury the prehistoric mammal bones below the dinosaur bones to mess with future scientists. And Lennon Cat says, I'd like to point out that sea turtle eggs last for 60 days underground while incubating, and they aren't destroyed.
Okay, so I'm the stupid one?
How long do I have to look to camera to get across how much that statement is self-explanatory? Is that enough? Is that enough time? Is the irony bled into all our brains? Be there? Okay.
No, I mean, imagine what it would be like if a person in the Civil War was in a field and then you dug them up 150 years ago. There wouldn't even be bones.
He thinks bones don't last. Depending on the circumstance, yes, they do. How quick do you think bones disappear? They're bones. They take a while.
Okay, now add that exponentially to 100 million. It's like, well, this, and not only do they think they don't have bones. They've admitted they don't have bones. They take the fake bones and they make it look...
It's not admitted. That's just how the process is. They're fossils.
Look like they're... And they say, according to the Smithsonian, despite the rarity of evidence, paleontologists know quite a bit about dinosaur gonads.
Thanks, Chicken Bacon Swiss.
And then people just say stuff to me like, what about the footprints, though? It's just like, would you like me to start again? I've supposed dinosaur footprints in Utah could be... Would you like to see me fake a footprint with a toilet paper roll and a stick?
Yes, I would actually like to see you go and make footprints in rock. Please do. Jade Monkey, thanks for a 3-stream streak.
But what about, but...
Bumble Homestead says, alas, poor Yorick, I knew him, Horatio.
But they said in the Spielberg, and then I went to the movies, and I was scared, and I watched a porno, and I ate all the fluoride, and I just... Would you guys like to see me make a footprint?
Yes.
In 5 minutes with a stick?
Yes, and then have it be fossilized in rock. Do it.
No, but we found it, and then and they said it was radioactive, and then they made it with lead. These are the
Overthought. Thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs.
People shaming me that are saying, "Oh, and Benjamin, He actually said that the dinosaurs were a Smithsonian lie. We can all blatantly see them. And then they call me profane, or that I'm using profanity. You're the ones paying taxes to it. I pay taxes, I get it. But to a government
that felt like a save.
That takes fake chicken bones out of China from the mind of Aldous Huxley's grandfather and then makes it look like they're
Aldous Huxley's grandfather, you fuck.
Each other. And the only reason you believe it is because of Spielberg movies, an alleged who's also made movies about extraterrestrials, War of the Worlds, Schindler's List, Catch Me If You Can. AI, Jaws. Do you think that there's a lot of sharks attacking people at public beaches?
I think that speaks for itself. What a frustrating fucking asshole. Doriadora says, man, the internet comment etiquette guy has really lost the plot. Big money, salvia. Big money, salvia.
And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
For the educational portion of our show, as you know, LA has a football team again. The Rams are back, and there's a player on the Rams Museum. So, how old were you when you realized you didn't believe in dinosaurs?
So, this guy doesn't believe in dinosaurs, I guess.
Junior, I don't ever really believe. I never really believed.
Never.
No.
So even as a little kid, when you were learning about dinosaurs, you didn't believe them?
I don't have a big imagination.
Listen, I think skepticism is a good quality to have. I think we should challenge the things we're expected to believe.
Okay.
I mean, not necessarily to this extent, but let's take a look around and see what you think.
No doubt about it.
Look at that. This doesn't move you in any way?
Absolutely not.
So what do you think these are?
Like clay.
Maybe it is clay. I don't know. Hey, how you doing?
Hi, good morning.
Hi.
Hi, my name is Daniel. I'm an educator here for the Natural History Museum.
Oh, we need you, Dan.
Please.
Have you met people who don't believe in dinosaurs before?
Yeah, every now and then we do get people who don't believe in dinosaurs.
Are you able to persuade them that dinosaurs are real?
Funigami says that Schindler's List being added there makes me feel like the real reason he hates media is because media keeps saying Hitler was evil. It's a part of it. He's an outright Nazi, so.
I give the facts and some of my personal experience with these.
Okay. Your personal experiences as in one?
As in actually going out and digging for dinosaurs.
You've never dug up a dinosaur before?
I have. Yes, I have.
Where?
Utah.
If Daniel has pictures, will you believe?
Absolutely not.
No.
What an asshole!
So you think
whoever Daniel went and did those dinosaurs up would probably put them there.
You think somebody planted the bones under the ground?
And they knew exactly where to go get them
from.
They know where they're likely to be because they know the conditions under which fossils are created. So they go to places with those conditions and look. And if you look hard enough, eventually you might find them, which they often do.
I don't know about that.
Well, yeah, of course you don't know. You're the one who was tricked.
The fossils that I dug up personally actually found using jackhammer, and I don't think anybody could.
You believe in jackhammers?
You do. Man seen jackhammers before.
Yeah.
And here we have our T-Rex skull, and it is one of the most complete T-Rex skulls ever found.
So those the real teeth from T-Rex?
Yeah, the lower jaw is pretty complete. If you take a look in between the cracks,
Karat says, my boyfriend is a huge dino nerd currently working on modeling a realistic 3D, oh boy, I'm gonna butcher this, Compsognathus. He yipped when he heard today's stream topic. He also wants to go and ride the Triceratops at the Creation Museum. Anyway, he says hi. Hello! Yeah, I want to go to the Creation Museum too to laugh at it. I think I'd get kicked out though.
We put in things like clay and glue to hold it together.
So you're saying this is a lot of this is clay?
Not a lot. Well,
a lot of it's clay.
A lot of this.
Oh, he's doing the comedy thing where, oh, we're gonna go teach the To be clear, I don't find Jimmy Kimmel that funny, like, at all. Late night hosts in general kind of play the lowest common denominator, boomers and Gen X. I don't know. I just don't generally find them funny. The only one I really find funny is Conan, generally. But anyway, they're doing the bit here where, oh, actually, the host is going to act like he's being convinced dinosaurs aren't real. Which I think is a bad joke to make.
When a bone gets covered in mud, that mud would harden and then water will come in through the cracks and replace the bone with minerals. And what you're left with is a natural replica.
So that's a real dinosaur bone.
This is a natural copy, basically, a fossil.
It's a copy.
A copy.
Yeah.
How many people are involved in this scam, Daniel?
I understand why it would be, why it's hard for people to believe that these animals did exist at one point.
Because nobody never seen them.
Okay. I'm glad we established this. Let's keep going.
Right here, we have a Struthiomimus, along with an ostrich and a goose.
So
And
are birds dinosaurs?
birds are dinosaurs.
Who made that rule up?
When we looked at the fossils, we
No,
found...
not we.
Yeah.
Y'all looked at the fossils.
Yeah. Not us.
I don't want no part of
You
that.
and your friends
One
that are
day.
involved in this conspiracy.
So is a giraffe a dinosaur?
It's a giraffe a dinosaur. Giraffe is not a dinosaur.
Did you ever see the movie Jurassic Park?
I have not seen the movie Jurassic Park.
It's great.
I would love to, though. So here we are at the Age of Mammals exhibit.
Mammals aren't dinosaurs, right?
No, they are not. They were here when dinosaurs were here. So we
Uh-huh.
can start off right here if you'd like.
MH Dark Beast, thank you for a 3-stream streak, says, come on, Hannah, give us the bones with glasses. Where did the bones stuff go? I used to have calipers. We used to be a proper country.
Pachycetus ataki.
What?
Is Pachycetus ataki.
Pachycetus
And
ataki.
Pachycetus ataki to you, too.
Does it remind you of any animal?
It looks like a dog or an anteater or something.
Yeah. It's actually the ancient ancestor of modern-day cetaceans, or whales, dolphins, and porpoises.
That's a whale?
Come
That's a
on,
walking
man.
whale.
Come on, Jimmy.
It's not a whale.
Hell no, that ain't no whale.
No. Yeah, that was not. You have that
That's
wrong.
definitely not flip.
You got to redo this because it's wrong.
Yeah, that's terrible. You believe that?
That? No. No way.
Basically, there are two kinds of skeletal mounts in museums today. Most mounts or skeletons of dinosaurs that you see on display are casts of the real bones in either fiberglass or some other light material. What's done is once the fossil is cleaned up, once the skeleton is prepared, then the curators work with metal workers called mount makers in order to devise the pose that they want the animal to be in. And lots of times they'll make detailed drawings or even scaled down models of how they want this animal to look. Then they blow those designs up into a full-scale mount and have to construct an iron framework called an armature.
I really like dinosaurs. T-Rex, Stegosaurus, Triceratops. You know that feeling when you walk into a museum being in the same room as a dinosaur? It's just special. The actual bones of something that was alive roaming the earth millions of years ago. So you can imagine how shocked I was when I found out that some of those bones on display in museums weren't real.
Oh my god, they did a record scratch.
Not real. I mean, not real. Some of the bones on display are replicas.
What, like even at like the Smithsonian?
Yeah, even at the Smithsonian. Now, but like you, I was confused, needed to find out a little more, so did a little journey, found out why they use replicas, I found out who makes these replicas, and you know, I really found out that it wasn't as bad as I thought.
I feel like I was lied to like my whole childhood.
Same. Totally the same. But you know what? We'll get through this together.
When you see the Mac.
I'm just going to show you how stupid people are. They believe that just because some Jews cut...
Well, that's as far into that video as I'm going to allow us to get. No, that's got to be a record for us.
Guys!
Real question here. All right, the real question here is, are you going to be another science bitch and tell me that this is a dinosaur? Is this a
No. I don't think this is. Do you think this is how people generally find dinosaur bones?
dinosaur fossil? Honestly, let's be honest here. Does this look like a quote-unquote dinosaur?
The thing you were showing? Not really, no.
Do you believe in dinosaurs? Do you believe in this mythical creature that they devised? This thing that they imagined in order to boost their career, to become the coolest science bitch of the age?
I want to be the coolest science bitch of the age. Fuck. Need to go back to school. The coolest science bitch of the age. Woo!
Or are you gonna trust your lying eyes?
And did this guy watch that Always Sunny episode and think it was based? Unironically, I've seen a lot of conspiracy theorists use that clip and seemingly not understand that it's making fun of them. So yeah. Toreador says, move over, Nobel Peace Prize. There's a new scientific accolade in town.
Tell me that this is a dragon. In China, where they actually believe in dragons, unlike
I think that's offensive. Really, man? Come on.
Europeans and Americans who are...
That's like saying people from the UK believe in dragons because of Arthurian myth. Like, come on.
Science.
That's so fucking racist.
Bitches. Just a question. Okay, so here's the kicker. All right.
Kagami says, but Hannah, you already are. You're Dr. Baja's bottom.
Here's the kicker. I'm not just going to throw that argument at you like that's the say-all, be-all. Okay, look, the honest truth of the matter is, okay, let's go back to China, first of all. Okay, China believes in dragons. They don't believe in dinosaurs, okay?
I'm sorry, did you just say China doesn't believe in dinosaurs?
There's like a mountain, I think it's in Guangzhou, China. I believe it is, I'm not certain, all right? But there's a mountain that's renowned for being the...
Renowned?
Final resting place of the dragons. Dragons are mystical, benevolent creatures in China. They're benevolent. The people love them, they've always loved them.
They're mythical! Plenty of different cultures have mythical creatures, like, in their beliefs or in their general cultural, like, zeitgeist, ethos, whatever you want to call it, ether.
They've blessed them. I mean, you look at the Japanese quote-unquote mythology. I mean, this
quote-unquote mythology.
This whole region is rife with stories of dragons, okay? So, they don't even know what a dinosaur is.
Wow, he's just, like, racist. He's just genuinely racist. He thinks that in China they don't know what dinosaurs are. This is fucked.
You think you'd see all those Chinese people huddled around some kind of a Smithsonian excavation site? Some sort of, hey, you know, we found a plesiosaurus. It's a plesiosaurus. Yep, look at it. Oh, this is a new breed. We haven't seen one quite.
There are paleontologists from China!
Like this.
What the fuck is this?
I refer you back to my dragon head video, where they found a dragon head in Dorset. Okay?
That's not a dragon! This was in the other video too! It's a fucking dinosaur!
Yes. I do have to say that a lot of times these things are most certainly replicated. They're fakes, without a doubt. There's plenty of that out there, but that's not what I'm talking about, and I don't believe that's what this is, okay? You see that many Chinese people huddled around a quote-unquote fossil, the skeletal remains of this creature. Now,
I didn't get the impression that it was trying to be shown as an actual thing. It looked like it was at some sort of local event or something. I don't know the context, but you basically showed one photo and now you're building mythology around it as if I know the context.
Note, first of all, they're not covered in stone. Now, in America, what happens, go to Utah or somewhere, they dig shit up, okay? They dig it up. They chisel away at it for like 3 years until they come up with a shape. And they're like, well, this is a new brand of Tyrannosaurus.
Wait, he thinks that they, like, literally chisel, like, fossils out of rock whole? Like, he thinks that there isn't any actual fossil in there, it's just like a blank, like, almost like slab of stone that they create the shape into? Oh no.
We've never seen this Tyrannosaurus Rex before. This must be an offshoot of it's a hybrid between a Diplodocus and they just come up with the biggest bullshit in the world. Never mind that when dinosaurs were invented by Sir Richard Owen, they were invented, okay? It was the age when these science bitches out there,
science bitches,
trying to become the coolest science bitch there was. You have to understand the competition of this age. Everybody wanted to be the smartest. They all wanted to be renowned. They all wanted to be famous in their field. In this new breaking thing called science. They wanted to be the coolest among their peers. This was peer-reviewed, and just like Hollywood and other establishments today, peers awarded peers with medals and accolades. And
does he clearly doesn't understand how peer review works. It's not an awards show.
And with positions of authority and with wealth that came with these positions of authority. They wanted to elevate themselves beyond what they were, and they did that with fabrication. They fabricated knowledge of everything. That's where Darwinism came from. It was the desire to be cooler than the other science bitches. I mean, I'm putting this in extremely crude terms, and I understand that. All right, but this is as basic as I can get it. I can't imagine a better way to convey this thought and this argument, which is why I'm utilizing this particular method. But look, all right, dinosaurs have never existed until the word dinosaur.
DWJ Neptune Man says, what is this guy's argument? That dinosaurs aren't real but dragons are? Yes, that is his belief. Vest Demon, thanks for a 3-stream streak.
Was invented. Nobody ever dug up a dinosaur bone anywhere in the entire world.
Again, incorrect.
Until dinosaurs were invented. Before that, it was dragons. Everybody knew it was dragons. There was no
new, air quotes, new
shadow of a doubt anywhere. Nobody even questioned it. They're like, holy shit. You found a dragon skeleton. You found the skeleton.
Famously, we all know the first thing that your brain imagines is always the correct answer.
Of a dragon. Nobody said, oh, that's a Diplodocus, Plesiosaur, Tyrannosaurus, Stegosaur. These are Greek terms. They utilize Latin as well, but Greek, just the word dinosaur itself, dinos in Greek means terrible. All right, and sauros means lizard. Okay, so these are English guys using Greek. Now, what does that sound like? Why would they do something like that?
Because they had a boner for the classical period, and often named things that way as to draw a connection between themselves and the Greeks and Romans. Latin was considered sort of an intelligent, like you were very educated if you knew Latin, right? You were classically educated.
To elevate their credibility, to sound smarter. It's very clear. I mean, I can see right through that silly deception.
Not a deception, it was just the naming convention of the day.
Right there. Now remember that dinosaurs in every museum are replicas. Okay, so they're
Not all of them, many of them, maybe even most of them, but they are nonetheless replicas of actual fossils that have been found.
all made out of plaster. Okay? They're all made out of plaster.
Not all of them, many of them. Again,
You go ask any, this is irrefutable. You can go to any museum and you see a giant Tyrannosaurus Rex skeleton. You're going to be like, well, you go to the curator. If you can twist his arm enough, you get him to admit that, yes, of course, it's not the
I don't think you'd have to twist their arm very hard. They're there to give you information.
real one. They're far too rare. They're far too valuable to put out in front where all the people could stick gum on them and touch them and breathe on them and all that. Look, they're not going to do it. So right off the bat, they admit that everything you see is plaster. Now,
Not everything. Again, there are plenty of museums. The Field Museum has a mostly intact actual T-Rex skeleton.
what's behind the scenes? Well, the real ones are hidden in a curator's vault. And wait a second. So let's see these curator's vaults. Let's go back and look at what's inside of these. And when you get the rare glimpse inside of these private collections, you see that it's all made out of what? Rock. It's quote-unquote petrified.
Do you know what a fossil is? Yes.
It's petrified. What does petrified mean? It means rock. It means rock. Okay? So if
it doesn't just mean rock.
Petrified, that means it's made of rock. So if somebody chisels away at some petrified fossil for 3, 4, 5, 10 years, whatever their length of time they spend before they reveal their findings.
He literally just thinks they sculpt them out of pure rock. That's interesting.
What are the chances that they sat there with a chisel and chiseled out whatever they wanted?
That's not how it works. There's a differentiation between the fossil and the surrounding rock. It's not the same material. Ashley One Up says at this point, I gotta. And there's a link. Yes, science, bitch!
And then they named it after themselves because it's the first of its kind. The first of its kind. Because it wasn't created until that sculptor sculpted it. Dinosaurs are...
How would people discover the same dinosaur then, if they were just doing random things? How would independent people find the same dinosaur, which has happened all the time?
Fake.
Doesn't really make sense, does it?
They're not real. Any museum curator will tell you that to your face, that they're replicas in the front, and in the back they will say that they're petrified. And petrified means rock. So prove to me that that rock, which you sculpted for years and years and years and years and years,
they didn't sculpt it,
was suddenly revealed by your tool instead of being created by your tool. To understand the dinosaur deception, let's go back to the guy who invented the word dinosaur. Now, I don't recommend that you use Wikipedia, but I'm using Wikipedia. It works adequately well for this particular exercise. Okay, so we're talking about Sir Richard Owen, 1804 to 1892. He was an English biologist, comparative anatomist, and a paleontologist. He's generally considered to have been an outstanding naturalist with a remarkable gift for interpreting fossils. Remarkable gift, eh? For interpreting fossils. Moving on.
If I just say words again, but verbally italicized, that clearly throws some sort of skepticism on them. What's your point?
Here's a picture of Sir Richard Owen, very distinguished-looking gentleman. Now, notice the sir, okay? Sir. Sir, as in knight. Or he's already a member of a secret society. Just
not all that secret, huh?
Put that in your head immediately. All right,
like, is Patrick Stewart a knight, Sir Patrick Stewart? I think he is. Picard has a knighthood. I'm just saying. Pretty open club.
It's the first thing you hear, sir, which means secret society.
No, it doesn't.
Known for coining the term dinosaur and presenting them as a distinct taxonomic group. British Museum of Natural History. Now let's take a look at some of his awards. Huh? Okay, just in
I'm not a monarchist, but someday I want to save the king or something, because I would like to be Dane Hannah Reloaded.
in his career,
It seemed to have worked out for Judi Dench, so I'm hoping for that for me.
the awards he was awarded. The Wollaton Medal, the Royal Medal, the Copley Medal, the Bailey Medal, the Clark Medal, and the Linnean Medal. And that's from 1838 to 1888.
This mascara is making my eyelids
Span of
itch.
50 years. He got 6 prestigious
No, Judi Dench is a Dane.
medals.
I'm just thinking, how would I become a Dane? And my first thought, of course, my brain goes, how do I get a knighthood? I go to my brain goes, what about that episode of the Brady Bunch where I want to say it was Peter saves Marcia and one becomes the other slave. It's like that, but instead it's the King of England and I become a Dane. Dane, whatever. You have to be British? I'll make it up. I'll just do a voice. I'll just do a funny voice. They'll buy it.
Owen produced a vast array of scientific work, but is probably best remembered today for coining the word Dinosauria, meaning terrible reptile, or
You love how my mind works. My mind works?
fearfully great reptile. An outspoken critic of Charles Darwin's theory of evolution by natural selection, Owen agreed with Darwin that evolution occurred, but thought it was more complex than what was outlined in Darwin's On the Origin of Species. Owen's approach to evolution can be considered to have anticipated the issues that have gained greater attention with the recent emergence of evolutionary developmental biology. Owen was the first president at the Microscopical Society of London in 1839 and edited many issues of its journal. Owen also campaigned for the natural specimens in the British Museum to be given a new home. This resulted in the establishment in 1881 of the now world-famous Natural History Museum in South Kensington, London. Bill Bryson,
It's like Highlander, you must eliminate Judi Dench. That won't be difficult. She's pretty old.
argues that by making the Natural History Museum an institution for everyone, Owen transformed our expectations of what museums are for. While he made several contributions to science and public learning, Owen was a controversial figure among his contemporaries, both for his...
I think he's putting on some sort of voice. I don't know why. He's just trying to kind of sound important, which sort of means a vaguely, not quite English accent, but whatever this is, I don't know how to describe this. It's just a little posh, but not very much. Just enough.
disagreements on matters of common descent, and for accusations that he took credit for other people's work. So even his contemporaries were calling him a fraud.
Sounds like they were calling him a plagiarist. Doesn't make dinosaurs not real.
And the kicker here is that I found this on Wikipedia. You know, I can go to a million different sources, okay? I use this because it's easily recognizable and it's formatted nicely for a video, okay? But look, if Wikipedia says something, if you can get Wikipedia to admit something like that, it's like getting a liberal to say that Joe Biden's policies suck, like twisting their arm. Okay, yeah, they suck. They suck. You know, that's like Wikipedia admitting any kind of truth. All right, so I
got him. Stone Corbell says this guy's an expert at the say stuff in a silly voice debunking method, the worst ASMR.
I look at that as another. To me, it adds credibility to the fact that this is real. Just, you know, in my mind at least, just knowing.
So you find Wikipedia to be non-credible, but when it backs up something you believe, you find it to be credible. That's interesting.
The sources that I'm utilizing.
The sources. He's like going into a deeper voice than I feel like he normally does, because he's trying to be theatrical, but it just kind of sounds like he's shitty Batman.
But do you know what I mean? Kind of sounds like he's going down here, almost doing kind of like a sexy man voice.
Not working. Not working.
Dinosaurs get their names because paleontologists give them their names. So we name dinosaurs all the time. And there's just different conventions. People have different styles.
Some of these complex dinosaur names we know just roll off the tongue of little kids, but how did they get those names?
There's a nomenclature, and there are rules to that nomenclature.
That require every dinosaur, in fact every organism named, to have two separate names. The first is the genus name, and it's always capitalized, like Tyrannosaurus.
Rex is the species name that follows. In other words, there's a particular species of Tyrannosaurus called Tyrannosaurus rex.
H-Beard says he's the dinosaur truther chat needs, not the dinosaur truther we deserve.
Now, these names kind of came from Latin or Greek words.
Tyrannosaurus means terrible lizard.
And they can either describe...
Rex means king.
Some anatomical characteristic of the dinosaur.
Like Triceratops, it's named after the three horns on top of its Triceratops. It's named after the...
As in Oedipus Rex.
Three horns on top of its head.
Or they...
Which is pretty good. Check it out.
Can be names that honor someone.
Main character's kind of a motherfucker, though.
Maybe the person who collected a lot of dinosaurs.
Sometimes dinosaurs are named after where they're found, like Edmontosaurus is a good example. I mean, it's from near Edmonton in Canada. Traditionally, in the old days, almost every dinosaur ended in saurus. So we have, Edmontosaurus, Tyrannosaurus, Albertosaurus. That's sort of...
You're not allowed to boo me. It was in our marriage contract.
Changed a little bit. I mean, one of the things that we regularly do now is that we name dinosaurs that are found in China have the suffix long, L-O-N-G. So like Guanlong, Konglong, because long means dragon in Mandarin.
Because long means dragon in Mandarin.
And this is kind of how these dinosaurs get their names. They're not simply meaningless, but they're either describing some aspect of the animal, where it was found, or someone that was important in its discovery. And we have...
That's really good, Lady Ann.
a lot of these examples in the dinosaur halls here at AMNH.
He thinks he's highlighting because they're explaining how it's named, then that means they're fake. I don't know if he doesn't understand that we name all animals that way, like not just extinct ones. Like if we find an extant species, someone's still naming them in a similar fashion. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. You don't stand under me? Nope. I'm holding it in. I'm holding it in. I have to use the bathroom real quick. This seems appropriate. While I'm gone, Chair will tell you all about Tammy and the T-Rex with Denise Richards and Paul Walker. RIP. This is when Paul Walker was turned into a T-Rex. Anyway, be right back. Fun fact, I think this was also called Tanny and the T-Rex on one release. I'm not positive, though. Weird. Anyway, I'd recommend it. Good bad movie. And then she poured beer into his brain vat. See, you've seen the movie. You get it. Denise Richards does a striptease for a brain in a jar at the end of that movie. Chat might enjoy this as a cleanse. Take a look.
You've overextended yourself, Leggett, so I'll give you a chance. Before we decide the fate of New Vegas with blood and iron, how about we settle this like civilized folk? A dance-off. Winner takes the dam.
A dance-off? Your NCR softness knows no bounds, Oliver. But if it spares my men a lengthy siege, I accept. Prepare to be outmatched.
We'll see about that. Boys, let's show them how the Republic gets down.
What did I discern as the main theme of Oedipus? Is this a book report? The role of fate in all of our lives, and how even if one tries to want to run away from fate, you inexorably wind up intersecting with it through your refusal to accept it. The inevitability and cruelty of the fates. Did I pass?
Impressive for a gathering of degenerates, legionaries, formation.
This is so dumb. Oh, this is a SpongeBob Jellyfish song. Pretty good. I get the Beep Boo Bop song stuck in my head all the time. Baja can back me up on this. Randomly, I'll just be like, beep beep boop 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 bop. Beep beep boop 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 beep bop boop.
Well, I didn't expect you to actually know how to dance without decapitating someone.
And I did not expect to find amusement in such frivolous activity. Yet here we are. The dam is yours, Oliver. Today, the Legion dances. Tomorrow, we may not be so festive.
Agreed, Leggett. Let's call it a draw for today. No bloodshed, but plenty of pride, perhaps.
I do want to show you the Tammy and the T-Rex trailer so you know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Everything in Tammy's life is just great. But when you're young and in love, life can get very complicated. Especially when it involves an insanely jealous creep.
That's my lady, all right?
Late night phone calls.
I want you to come over. Yes!
Sneaking around in your own house.
Did you lock the door?
Don't worry.
Your boyfriend getting dumped in a wild animal park. And a crazy doctor.
Well, that's it.
Who turns out to be a mad scientist.
I mean, if you're going to make an omelet, you have to break a few eggs, right?
With an insane invention that only needs a brain. But this Tyrannosaurus Rex just wants to be a party animal.
That's inaccurate. He really doesn't want to be a party animal. He just wants to get his body back so he can be with his girlfriend.
Even when you tell
This movie's very funny. Like, genuinely, it's a very funny movie. If you're looking for a bad movie to watch with friends, I'd recommend Tammy and the T-Rex. But it's very funny how they shoot it, because they clearly have this animatronic T-Rex. I don't know where they got it. I don't think they had it custom made for the movie, though I could be wrong. I think they had access to this animatronic T-Rex. But it's clearly, like, on a big stand. Like, I don't know if this thing was meant to go from place to place as, like, a showpiece or whatever, but it's clearly designed to, like, go on a truck or something and go from place to place. But it's just static on this stand. So the whole movie, whenever they do a wide shot, you never see the base unless it's like literally the first shot that's in the warehouse, because then it would be obvious it's an animatronic on a big metal base. So you're usually shooting it from like the mid leg up, and it's just very obvious that it can't move anywhere. So it's pretty good.
The truth. Nobody believes it anymore.
It was a dinosaur.
There's also a pretty good scene where the T-Rex uses a payphone. That's pretty funny.
It's more than a machine with a brain.
For that, I think they used just like glove arms as the T-Rex arms.
There's a machine with feelings. We're on the brink of something special. We are going to be immortalized.
Is that really you in there? Oh, Michael, what have they done to you? Oh, you poor thing.
Seeing Denise Richards have to have scenes where she's in love with this T-Rex is also just fucking incredible.
Gone crazy. Byron, I am not going crazy.
How does this film compare to Whoopi Goldberg's Theodore Rex? That's actually a good question. I might be a little more partial to Theodore Rex, just because that one has a lot of dinosaurs, and like, as bad as that movie is, I do enjoy the animatronic dinosaur designs, and I like watching the suits and stuff, so probably that, but this is a funnier movie. This is probably the funnier movie, unintentionally.
Just a little hard to explain.
We found the dinosaur, Sheriff. It's in a truck being driven by your son. Byron? Yes, sir. See a couple of folks back at the hospital. They say he stole it. Stole what?
The movie's called Tammy and the T-Rex.
Dinosaur. Oh, jeez.
Have I read the Theodore Rex novelization? I've not.
That is my dinosaur that you are threatening. I made him and he is mine.
What are we gonna do?
I will give you immortality.
Not if Tammy has anything to say about it. Tammy and the T-Rex.
Oh yeah, that's like the one shot.
Not if Tammy has anything to say about it.
That's the one shot where they show from far away this stop motion T-Rex. Whereas in this shot, you can just tell that it was on a flatbed, that they were like driving around with it because of how smooth the move is.
Tammy and the T-Rex.
Anyway, back to the Dinosaur Deniers, but that's a fun movie. A little bit of a cleanse. The stars at night are big and bright here in the heart of Texas. Sorry, my brain got there because I'm thinking of the payphone scene.
Yeah, okay, so you're
in Tammy and the T-Rex, which made me think of the payphone scene in Pee-wee's Big Adventure, where he's in Texas. Anyway. My brain is just movie clips. My brain is random factoids strung together with movie clip references and duct tape.
Yeah, okay, so you're right, 2 days. So it's really like when it's over that.
2 days.
Yeah, when it's over that.
When it goes to the third day, it's officially a heat wave.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. And not for nothing, I think every other summer, except...
Ashley One Up says, if memory serves, the producer or director owned a theme park. They were given an animatronic for the theme park, so they decided to make a movie with it before they put it in a theme park he also owned. I love movies like that. Like Roar, where they had access to that animal sanctuary, so like people are constantly almost getting like mauled by real lions. I love a movie whose thing is they made this movie because they had access to this one weird thing. Usually there's an interesting story.
For this one so far, had a bunch of heat waves. And I was talking about the other day, now when you drive on the Garden State, they have those flashing signs that tell you to slow down, and they tell you what's going on. Now they say air quality low. We recommend you stay indoors. All over the place. Air quality, and that's another thing now. The fact that air quality is popping up on your phone, the fact that all you hear is people talking about that shit, they're trying to get us on that. There's always been bad air quality, people.
I mean, it's gotten worse since industrialization, unless you're near an active volcano. So no, what are you talking about?
Do that in China.
Not always.
all the time, bro.
Yeah, I mean, look,
Air
quality,
quality
of air goes up and
they
down,
lock
man.
down cities all the time in China for air
Oh, really?
quality. Yeah, hell yeah, all the time.
Well, that's the big question too. Like they say, like
Why are podcasts now just the stupidest people in the world talking to each other and hyping each other up? What's with that?
all these people fighting for climate change? They don't go to China with that shit.
Mm-hmm.
China releases the most emissions out of every country, supposedly.
China produces consumer goods for most of the globe.
It emits more than.
And China is involved, by the way, with tons of different climate change, like reduction, like efforts to switch over to renewables. So don't with this shit.
All the countries.
It just comes off as whataboutism.
Combined, supposedly. I think I heard that the other day. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure.
Because podcasting requires 0 brain cells. Twitch streaming, too.
Say that again?
That China emits more emissions than all other countries combined.
Yeah, so when people were complaining about Trump like pulling us out of the Paris Accords, which are like the climate climate things, it's like, dude, we can do as much.
This does get into the dinosaur thing, by the way.
As we want, and they're just pumping shit out into the planet, dog.
Yeah,
and
you gotta
dog
cut back on everything. Yeah.
Dude, I saw this thing the other day. I got a fucking gnat flying around my screen, annoying the shit out of me. Supposedly, we've only affected the Earth by less than 1%. I think it's 1% cooler. You know what I'm saying? Than it's ever been.
What the fuck is he talking about?
Oh, dude, that is also the biggest lie out there. That the warming temperature also isn't necessarily bad for us as well.
Yeah.
Oh, we're at the stage where these idiots are saying, actually, global warming is good.
Yeah.
We're doing this?
Yeah.
Like, when
I might have to drop this before they even start talking about the dinosaur thing. This is just pissing me off.
The dinosaurs, if they were around, allegedly when they existed, right? Because
have I seen Crystal Station? No,
actually learned on this show.
I don't think so.
That I believe every bone and every skeleton that we see from a dinosaur in like a museum or anything like that is a cast. They're not real. They're cast. I think you told me that.
Again, what do they think casts are? They're reproductions of the real one.
Yeah.
If it's a cast, then it comes from a real one.
Know that.
Oh, really?
I did not know that, dude.
Well, they got the real bones downstairs.
I imagine there are a lot of things you don't know.
It's in the basement.
So they say. Have you ever seen them?
Crystal is a lol cow. Thinks Shanny for Christ. I don't even know who Shanny for Christ is.
I've seen him, dude. I've seen him as a kid.
I think dinosaurs
Utah.
existed, by the way, before everyone starts bugging out on
Yeah, same.
I think there was a time that there were dinosaurs. I don't, however, think we were cavemen. Like,
what do you even mean?
In the sense of and couldn't talk and didn't have like some sort of knowledge.
What? I don't even know what you mean by that. What do you mean?
We always were able to talk.
Communicate, yeah, we were able to communicate. I think in creation, the first two people were able to communicate.
Back to the dinosaurs, right? And the global warming. When they were on the planet, the landscape of the Earth was completely different. Like the stuff that's desert now was not.
And human beings would not. If you had a time machine, and could somehow go back 65, 200 million years, whatever era of dinosaurs you want to, you would not find it easy to be around because the atmosphere was different. The environment was different. Humans weren't around. No. Humans could not thrive in that environment. So saying, well, when dinosaurs were around, the environment was very different, isn't good if you want humans to continue to live.
It was rainforest. It was hotter. Globally, it was like 4 or 5 degrees hotter everywhere than it is here. And if it was 5 degrees hotter, like average, like we would have every like shoreline would be thousands of miles inland because the water, like there'd be that much more water.
I don't agree with that.
Agree with that? What do you mean? What the fuck? Why did the bottom 30% of everyone's high school class start a podcast?
Dude, it's
Yeah.
it's a fucking fact, dog.
Yeah.
Really?
The sea levels, dude, they go up and
Show me the
go
receipts.
up and down over time.
Oh,
right?
that yes, no doubt. But to say it's gonna be thousands of miles, says you.
Says you. Holy shit, people are dumb. We're the dumbest species. Human beings are doomed. What is this? Don't start a podcast? Oh god. I don't know if I can actually play this. This is like a whole ass College Humor video.
Weird, but okay. What's wrong with that?
Yeah, I can't play all of this. Although I do like Dropout very much so. Okay, let's find another video. AI's already smarter than us. It really isn't. It really isn't, I promise. Oh.
Hey folks, welcome to another video from A Plain Truth 2 and Well Healed. Well, another big hoax in the hoax world we live in. Everything is a lie, nothing is true. That's the name of my new book coming out, hopefully within a few weeks. Anyway, I want to get into dinosaurs. Dinosaur, terrible lizard. Fossils have been existed for millions of years, but were never found by or known to any civilization in the history of humanity until the evolutionism's Masonic Renaissance
Evolutionism.
in the mid-19th century. Quote, why are there no dinosaurs by Native Americans in all the years previous when they roamed the American continents? How about the Negroes before them?
Oh, that's unfortunate.
There's no belief of dinosaurs in the Native American religion. For that matter, no discoveries prior to the 19th century in any part of the world. According to the World Book Encyclopedia, before 1800s, no one ever knew that dinosaurs existed. During the late 1800s and early 1900s.
I don't know when this quote is from, but I'm going to assume recent enough where that still wasn't considered okay. Fenekagami says, fun fact, in dino times there was a higher concentration of oxygen in the atmosphere. It's one of the reasons nothing grows as big as stuff back then. There's not enough oxygen. But we couldn't handle that oxygen-rich environment anymore because of how we've evolved. Yeah, I mentioned that the environment and the composition of the atmosphere was different.
1800s, large deposits of dinosaur remains were discovered. Why has man suddenly made all these discoveries? It's from the book Dinosaurs, Science or Science Fiction by David Wozni. So we have pyramids being built all around the world up to 10,000 years ago, yet they never found dinosaur bones in all their excavation.
The non sequitur. They did find bones. They didn't just have it. They just didn't have enough information to put together some sort of classification for what they were. So they came up with different myths surrounding them.
Great Giza Plaza pyramid is on 13 acres, and it's on property that has been cleared and landfill, and no dinosaur bones were found. But the first dinosaur was found in 1824 by William Buckland, who was a fossil fuel hunter, fossil meaning old, clergyman who discovered some megalosaurus fossils. Now he says clergyman here, but I bet she is a Jesuit. In 1890 and named the reptile in 1824. First dinosaur ever described scientifically and the first theropod discovered. The word dinosaur had not even been invented yet. Okay, so along comes the...
Seems like a lot of these people have difficulty understanding that you can invent a new way of, like... How do I explain this? What am I even trying to articulate? Let me think about it for a second. It seems like they have a really big problem understanding that people's understandings can shift quite drastically. So, like, the prior understanding that people finding, you know, these big bones and not having a explanation for them, they ascribed it to dragons or some other large beast, a giant, who knows. At some point, people come along and decide, you know, maybe it's not this, maybe it's, let's just take this myth stuff out of it. What do we know? We know there are these large bones of creatures that existed before humans. Let's call these things dinosaurs because we have whatever hypothesis that they're based on lizards or related to lizards in some way, whatever, however they came to that determination. They seem to have a problem understanding that previous people can have the observation that those bones exist and decide that they are dragons, and then someone else can come along and see those bones and come up with a new, more scientific taxonomic explanation. And it's not a lie, it's just that they were wrong before. They don't seem to be able to reckon with the concept that people came up with a very full belief about dragons and other mythical creatures, and it was a large part of people's cultures, and it just wasn't true. Like, I don't know if that's something they're averse to because of how scary it is to recognize that how much of our lives and cultures and worldviews can be built out of things that turn out to be untrue. So therefore they don't want to deal with that. But it's just something I'm noting, just something interesting. It can be scary to recognize that, but it is just like life. Like, yeah, a lot of things are bullshit. It's cool. It's fine.
Word dinosaur. And here's from Eric Dubé's AtlanteanConspiracy.com. No tribes, cultures, or countries in the world ever discovered a dinosaur bone before the mid-1800s.
You really shouldn't trust Eric Dubé or any of his sources. He's a big liar. He's a big flat earther.
Suddenly all over the world, North America, South America, Europe, Asia, Argentina, Belgium, Mongolia, Tanzania, West Germany, all of a sudden they're finding dinosaurs everywhere. And the word dinosaur didn't come to be until 1847. Dinosaur means terrible lizard. And then all of a sudden they discovered 500 different species and 80 dinosaurs all over the place. Everywhere there's dinosaur bones. However, there's one problem with it all. It's like the dinosaur bones found in the museums are not even dinosaurs. The museum displays models, mannequins, cartoons, and movies. Have you ever seen are all imaginative reconstructions based on incomplete skeletons arranged in a manner paleontologists believe to be realistic. Skeletons are all admittedly intricate fabrications made of plaster, fiberglass, various epoxies.
Again, this is not like a secret. This is just how it is. They have models so you can see it. I'm trying to think of another example, like I've been to the Air and Space Museum, for instance. Certainly there are actual aircraft there, but they also have models of certain aircraft. They have presentations about them. They have different hands-on activities to explain how certain mechanical engineering things work, vis-a-vis like air travel or jet planes, stuff like that. A natural history museum, similarly, is going to have displays and models because that's what a museum is. It's supposed to have displays that are educational, that teach you things visually, or depending on the museum, maybe in a hands-on tactile way. But, like, that's what it's for. Educational models are a thing.
Another animal bones and not original fossils. Dinosaur.
Is this like Flat Earth where it comes from an original book? I'm not sure where sort of the origin point of the dinosaur hoax stuff would be, if there is one.
Or found a museum.
Wouldn't surprise me if it's creationist in nature, if it's some sort of like Christian evangelical thing, but I don't know what the original source would be if it all comes from one.
Museums are admittedly carefully prepared fakes. Another problem with dinosaurs is their unnatural structure dynamics. I mean, look.
If you're asking why a lot of these people are bringing up the same points, it is because Eric Dubé quite famously years ago did a Dinosaurs Are Fake video, and people since then have pretty much been hitting on those same points. Conspiracy theories in a lot of ways, this is probably true broadly, but conspiracy theories, how do I put this in a way that sounds not condescending? There's probably no way. This is going to sound shitty. A lot of conspiracy theorists are uncreative, thoughtless people. Again, this sounds so shitty and condescending. I don't mean that as an insult as much as I mean it as a matter of fact. Often the kind of people who fall into conspiracy theories tend to be a little gullible. They tend to fall into motivated thinking a lot. They're not the most creative. So a lot of the videos you see tend to be people basically ripping off other people. Plagiarism is just the norm in conspiracy communities. Like, sourcing people is not a thing that happens. In conspiracy communities, everyone is James Somerton. Like, it's just a given that you just repeat claims that you've heard other people make without citation. So you'll see this in especially smaller conspiracies that don't have a lot of people out there producing new content. People just repeating the same 5 or so points because it's all they have. It's basically a meme that they're just, like, increasing the signal on by repeating the same claims over and over.
Look at T-Rex, folks. How's he going to run? How's he going to get food with those little paws he's got in the front?
I think I've heard some hypotheses that they thought the T-Rex at one point might have been a secondary predator and that it didn't necessarily take things down, but something already taken down, then it would show up and eat off the carcass.
Or is he going to only
scare
eat
away
from
the
trees?
original predator, or wait until it was already done, take what's left.
He's going to run like that? I mean, it's just ridiculous how he wouldn't fall over. Look at the head based on his body and tail. Many dismemberments cannot even make T-Rex stand up on their own weight. I mean, it's all a fraud. All right, so here's Eric Dubé's take on it. Interesting that Eric Dubé came out with this on the dinosaurs on the date of Wednesday, September 9th, and then just a few weeks later, he released his incredible Flat Earth book, Waking the World Up to Flat Earth.
Okay, so maybe he did actually do a book as well, because I know he's done multiple books, but he did do that video for sure.
Back in 2015. And then
Jesus, is that video that old now? Almost a decade.
He had many other major disclosures, like nuclear doesn't exist and all other things, all in the same period of time. So you have to question Mr. Dubé, but he does do good research because he's got the J's backing him up.
The class Dinosauria was originally defined by Sir Richard Owen of the Royal Society and Superintendent of the British Museum Natural History Department in 1842. Or, in other words, the existence of dinosaurs was first speculatively hypothesized by a knighted museum head coincidentally in the mid-19th century during the heyday of evolutionism, before a single dinosaur fossil had ever been found. The Masonic media and mainstream press worldwide got to work hyping stories of these supposed long-lost animals, and then, lo and behold, 12 years later, in 1854, Ferdinand van de Veer Hayden, during his exploration of the upper Missouri River, found proof of Owen's theory. A few unidentified teeth he mailed to leading paleontologist Joseph Leidy, who several years later declared them to be from an ancient, extinct Trachodon dinosaur, which, beyond ironically, means rough tooth. Firstly, it should be needless to say that it is impossible to reconstruct an entire hypothetical ancient animal based on a few teeth. But even more importantly, it is dubious that a myriad of ancient reptile, bird, and reptile mammal transitional forms necessary for the blossoming theory of evolution would be hypothesized and then
To be clear, dinosaurs are not required for our they're certainly a part of the fossil record, they're a part of it, but even if dinosaurs didn't exist, it wouldn't undo the fact that we can clearly see that we and other creatures are evolved and related to one another.
conveniently discovered by teams of evolutionist archaeologists purposely out looking to find such fossils. And it is even more dubious that such fossils have supposedly existed for millions of years, but were never found by or known to any civilization.
Again, they were known
in the history of humanity until evolutionism's Masonic Renaissance in the mid-19th century. David Wozni wrote, "Why are there no discoveries by Native Americans in all the years previous when they roamed the American continent?
Using First Nations as a bludgeon like this pisses me off.
Dinosaurs.
He doesn't give a single shit about any First Nations people, but he's gonna use them here. Annoys me.
In the Native American religion or tradition. For that matter, why were there no discoveries prior to the 19th century in any part of the world? According to the World Book Encyclopedia, before the 1800s, no one ever knew that dinosaurs existed.
Toreador says, technically all fossils are missing links until they're found. I mean, by that logic, every creature that ever lived is a missing link between, their parents and hypothetical children. Fossils and native people. The question of how far back in time to begin a historical review of paleontology in the national parks is worth consideration. In the broadest sense and interpretation, the study of paleontology is a human undertaking involving fossils. In North America, there's evidence of human interactions with fossils that date back thousands of years. Archaeological discoveries demonstrate and document the use of paleontological specimens by prehistoric Native Americans. Projectile points manufactured from petrified woods and tools fashioned from fossil bones or shells are not uncommon in the archaeological record. Fossils used to produce what appears to be jewelry, effigies, and spiritual objects are contained in archaeological collections, including collections maintained by the National Park Service. So yeah, they're full of shit. Follow that link if you want to learn more about the history of indigenous groups and fossils. Benekagami says most of the dinosaurs got wiped out by a catastrophic disaster. How could they be a key to evolution? The chain of events got broken except for a few gene lines.
During the late 1800s and early 1900s, large deposits of dinosaur remains were discovered. Why has man suddenly made all these discoveries?
Obviously, that's when the devil got done burying them.
No tribes, cultures, or countries in the world ever discovered a dinosaur bone before the mid-1800s, and then they were suddenly found all over the world in North America, South America, Europe, Asia, Africa, Argentina, Belgium, Mongolia, Tanzania, West Germany, and many other places apparently had large deposits of dinosaur fossils never before seen. All these places were inhabited and well explored for thousands of years before this time. Why had no one ever found a dinosaur fossil before?
If I'm doing subsistence farming, I don't know if I have a lot of time to just, like, dig up bones for no reason. Like, if I'm digging anything, it's probably to try and find a well. And that's probably about the only time I'm gonna dig. Because what am I gonna be doing? I got a subsistence farm every day.
According to the book The Dinosaur Project, paleontological journalist Wayne Grady claims the period following this, from around 1870 to 1880, became a period in North America where some of the most underhanded shenanigans in the history of science were conducted. In what was known as the Great Dinosaur Rush, or the Bone Wars, Edward Drinker Cope of the Academy of Natural...
This is what I don't understand when people like this bring up the Bone Wars and the egregious, like, fucked up things they did, the potential hoaxes that happened, the confirmed hoaxes that happened. If they thought all of paleontology was a hoax, this wouldn't stand out, because it would just be another hoax in a sea of hoaxes. But it's not. It's a notable period because they got caught faking a lot of stuff and destroying things and being underhanded douchebags. Like, that's why it stands out. That's why we talk about it, because it is unique relative to the time after that, where things got more, you know, professional, let's say.
Sciences, and Othniel Marsh of the Peabody Museum of Natural History began a lifelong rivalry and passion for dinosaur hunting. They started out as friends, but became bitter enemies during a legendary feud involving double-crossing, slander, bribery, theft, spying, and destruction of bones by both parties. Marsh is said to have discovered over 500 different ancient species, including 80 dinosaurs, while Cope discovered 56. Out of the 136 dinosaur species...
Kind of funny that he thinks that they were faking dinosaurs, but most of the species they found weren't even dinosaurs. Like, they just said he's credited for up to 500 species, but only, like, what? What did he say? Between 50 and 90 are dinosaurs? So did he just fake all those other animals too for fun? Or what?
Species supposedly discovered by the two men, however, only 30...
Toreador says Uncle Fester and Gomez were the original paleontologists. Yeah, that's actually when they invented the mamushka. They were out there looking.
Are presently considered valid, as the rest have all proven to be falsifications and fabrications. None of them once claimed to find a complete skeleton either, so all their work involved reconstructions. In fact, to this day, no complete skeleton has ever been found, and so all dinosaurs are reconstructions. David Wozni wrote, Discoveries and excavations seem not to be made by disinterested people such as farmers, ranchers, hikers, outdoor recreationists, building
farmers have found fossils,
construction industry, basement excavators, pipeline trench diggers, and mining industry personnel, but rather by people with a vested interest such as paleontologists, scientists, university professors, and museum organization personnel who were intentionally looking for dinosaur bones or who have studied dinosaurs previously. Finds are often made during special dinosaur bone hunting trips.
Yeah, they know where to look. If you're going and looking for something in the place that you statistically know it's likely to be, you're more likely to find them because you're actively looking than people who aren't going to the place where the stuff is and aren't looking. Yes?
And expeditions by these people to faraway regions already inhabited and explored. This seems highly implausible. More believable is the case of the discovery of the first original Dead Sea Scrolls in 1947.
Like, if someone told me, like, go find what's something that's around, but I don't necessarily think about cans of soda, cans of pop, empty cans of pop alongside the road, I'd go find some. Day to day, I don't notice them, despite them probably being there. But if I went out and walked around all day, specifically looking for discarded cans, I would find them, because I'm looking for them. And if I had an intent of looking for them, I could think to myself, where are these likely going to be? And I could go to those places and actively search, and I would find them, whereas on a day-to-day basis, I'm not trying to do that, so I don't. I don't get how that's hard to understand. Harold Elbelman says, farmers found cool shit like meteorites all the time, actually. The biggest collector in the country got his by putting ads in the almanacs offering to buy the weird rocks, because if you're a farmer, even subsistence, you notice the weird rock in your field and you tend to keep it.
Which were unintentionally discovered by a child, and which were all published by 1955. In some cases of a discovery of dinosaur bones by a disinterested person, it was suggested to them by some professional in the field to look or dig in a certain area. Also very interesting to note are special areas set aside and designated as dinosaur parks, for which amateur dinosaur hunters are required to first obtain a dinosaur hunting license. Whatever destination these establishment-funded archaeologists and paleontologists set, it seemed they found incredible numbers of fossils in tiny areas. In one of the largest dinosaur...
Because conditions have to specifically be met, so they go to the places with those specific conditions. Benekagami says, again, given our experience with conspiracy theorists and their habit of repeating things that aren't true in an effort to will them to be true, I'm really inclined to think we found a complete skeleton. If not complete, almost complete, to the point of making the statement not complete a complete lie in the literal sense, at least in the sense of the intent of what he's trying to say. We've certainly found complete skeletons between multiple specimens. But either way, he's basically trying to make it sound like we have never found even close to a full skeleton, which is just not true. H-Baird says, Thomas Jefferson had fossils in his foyer. That was common for wealthy people in those days. You couldn't call ahead, so you would leave stuff to entertain guests while they were waiting for you. I'm gonna put my Blu-ray collection. You can just stare at my movies.
Excavation sites called the Ruth Mason Quarry. Over 2,000 fossils were
something Mason, Freemasons, we did it.
Were allegedly discovered. Casts and original skeletons assembled from these bones are currently on display in over 60 museums worldwide. Florentino Amagino, head of paleontology at La Plata Museum, is amazingly responsible for 6,000 fossil species supposedly discovered throughout his career, all in Argentina. Dinosaur hunter Earl Douglas sent 350 tons of excavated dinosaur bones to the Carnegie Museum of Natural History throughout his
Sue. We mentioned Sue earlier. Over 90% complete. Very nice.
Career, all coming from the Dinosaur National Monument in Utah. During an expedition to Patagonia, Dr. Louis Chiappe and Dr. Lowell Dingus supposedly discovered thousands of dinosaur eggs at a site of only a few hundred square yards. Many experts have mentioned how such finds of huge quantities of fossils in one area by just a few highly invested individuals goes against the laws of natural probability.
No, it doesn't. They're not throwing a dart at a globe or at a map and going, that's where we're gonna dig.
And lends credence to the likelihood of forgeries or concentrated planting efforts.
Planting efforts. I don't know if you know this, but paleontologists don't get paid enough to go spend time to fake fossils and bury them before digging them up.
Wozni wrote,
They really don't get paid that well.
Dinosaur bones sell for a lot of money at auctions. It is a profitable business. There is pressure for academics to publish papers. Museums are in the business of producing displays that are popular and appealing. Movie producers and the media need to produce material to sell to stay in business.
Do you think that the media is held up by dinosaurs? I'm so confused.
The mainstream media...
I think he may have been born in an era where he has an overinflated thought as to how important dinosaurs are to media. I'm kind of in that generation too, because in the 90s, Jurassic Park was huge. And it kicked off like Dinosaur Mania. There was Tammy and the T-Rex. There was Theodore Rex. There was the Super Mario Brothers movie. There was the American Godzilla that was terrible. There was dinosaur stuff in the media a lot in the 90s. So I get kind of where he's coming from there. But that's not typical. Like, dinosaurs are not that huge in the media these days. You'll get a Jurassic, like, World movie from time to time, but that's about it.
Loves to hype
Jim Henson's Dinosaurs, which is good.
Alleged dinosaur finds. Much is to be gained by converting...
Ooh, Dino Riders, yeah. Toreador says the Velociraptors from Jurassic Park were an awakening for me. Oh, fun.
Land non-dinosaur...
The Carnosaur movies, yeah.
Discovery of a bone of modern origin into an impressive dinosaur find, and letting artists' interpretations and imaginations take the spotlight rather than the basic, boring, real find. There are people who desire and crave prestige, fame, and attention. There is the bandwagon effect and crowd behavior. And then there are people and entities pursuing political and religious agendas. Highly rewarding financial and economic benefits to museums, educational and research organizations, university departments of paleontology, discoverers and owners of dinosaur bones, and the book, television, movie, and media industries may cause sufficient motivations for ridiculing of open questioning and for suppression of honest investigation. The fact that T-Rex bones have sold at auctions for upward of $12 million shows how lucrative the field of dinosaur hunting can be, and it just happens to be museum officials who serendipitously...
Does he understand that most people in the field do not make a lot of money?
They seem to make them...
Most make very little money.
Most prolific.
You don't go into paleontology because you want to be rich.
Finds. The first dinosaur to ever be publicly displayed was the Hadrosaurus fulci at Edward Drinker Cope's Academy of Natural Sciences in Philadelphia. The bones were co-discovered by Joseph Leidy, Cope's esteemed professor, and the man responsible for the Trachodon Toothosaurus. The original Hadrosaurus reconstruction, which is still on display today, shows a huge plaster cast bipedal
Caitlyn Jenner's pushing crypto scams. Shocking.
reptile standing upright, using its tail as a third leg. What few people know, however, is that no skull was ever discovered and no original bones were put in the public exhibit. David Wozni wrote, "A visual and a sculptural artist were promptly hired to invent a skull, and from the illustrations of another artist who had depicted the iguanodon, the two artists drew the same face for the Hadrosaurus fulci. The people..."
What is this? Hold on. Ooh! That is a nice trilobite.
People involved could now technically defend the existence of this dinosaur if someone were to ask. The stunt worked out so well and fooled the public so thoroughly that they could later change the head of the creature without anyone noticing. To this day, Hadrosaurus fulci is on display at the Academy of Natural Sciences in Philadelphia. The bones are said to be kept behind heavy closed doors, but a plaster copy is exhibited in their place. So we learn of an iguana skull being substituted for the skull of a dinosaur on display. What was the public told at the time? What are we not being told today? What we are not being told is that this is the rule and not the exception. To this day, not a single complete skeleton of any dinosaur has ever been found. All the museum displays, models, mannequins, cartoons, and movies of prehistoric monsters you have ever seen are all imaginative reconstructions based on incomplete skeletons.
Again, between specimens you can get complete skeletons, and as someone else pointed out, animals tend to be mirrored. Like, if you cut me in half right here, like this way, my right side and my left side are nearly identical. Not exactly, but pretty close.
Arranged in a manner paleontologists
The same with dinosaurs.
believe to be most realistic. Furthermore, the skeletons exhibited in museums are all admittedly intricate fabrications
Bilateral symmetry, that's the word.
made of plaster, fiberglass, various epoxies, and other animal bones, not original fossils. When dinosaur bones are transported and prepared, they use strips of burlap soaked in plaster to jacket over the fossils.
These people seem to think that merely asking questions is sufficient. No, you ask questions to find the answers, not to keep asking and asking and asking rather than thinking. That's the problem, though. They think that their questions are so brilliant that they can't be answered, so they think it's an end to the conversation. Aha! I have questioned you, and you can't answer it, without actually waiting for an answer. It's incredibly condescending and self-aggrandizing. Very strange. Denver, the Last Dinosaur, yeah. Land Before Time, Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, Dinotopia, We're Back, a dinosaur story with John Goodman. It was a Don Bluth film, I believe. Yeah, there were a lot. There were a lot of dinosaur things in the 90s. Gonna roll back the rock to the donut time. To rock, yeah.
And after applying a tissue separator to keep the plaster from direct contact with the bone, the soaked burlap strips are laid on until it is totally encased in a protective, mummy-like coating ready for safe transport. In an article titled, "A Fossil's Trail from Excavation to Exhibit," one insider remarked that
Barney, true. I never remember that Barney's a dinosaur, because he's so not, even though he is. Hydrate. Barney's just Barney.
Mold making and casting, we can totally fabricate limbs, ribs, vertebrae, etc. for the missing pieces of an articulated
Flintstone's the
skeletal
60s.
mount. Plaster, fiberglass, and epoxies are often and commonly used. In reconstruction work on single bones, small to large cracks can be filled in with mache or plaster mixed with dextrin, a starch that imparts an adhesive quality and extra hardness to regular molding plaster. We've also had success using epoxy putties. Large missing fragments can be sculpted directly in place with these same materials. In other words,
Fundamental lack of understanding of how science works is a prereq for a lot of these dudes. I've had some interactions with them at work. I work at a science center for kids and teens regarding our new climate exhibits. We don't even take a stand on anything. We just show how the process works. Shakes head. That's got to be frustrating. Literally just being a place to educate people and then they argue with you about it. Like, hey, take this how you will, but this is the science as it exists. Your politics are your politics, but this is the reality. Deal with it.
Museum personnel work with plaster and other materials to transport and fabricate skeletons and missing or incomplete bones all the time. In fact, the huge dinosaur bone displays found in museums across the world are admittedly carefully prepared fakes. No independent researcher has ever examined a real dinosaur.
No, what are you talking about? Scientists are in... What do you mean? What are you talking about? When you say independent researcher, I assume he means conspiratorial whack job. Because researchers look at these things all the time because it's their fucking job. When he says independent, what he means is not affiliated with any museum or school. Which, like, yeah, you're a random asshole. You don't get to touch the very fragile fossils. Thank you for 26 months. I appreciate it.
They claim all the actual fossils are kept in high security storage, but only a select few paleontologists are ever allowed to examine them.
Yeah, you know what? I bet you have to be a pretty high up art person to get to look at things backstage at the Louvre.
So the ability to ascertain their authenticity is kept from the general public. Robin Kofod wrote, Most people believe that dinosaur skeletons displayed in museums consist of real dinosaur bones. This is not the case. The real bones are incarcerated in thick vaults.
Incarcerated?
Which only a select few highly placed researchers
They're out, they're in the back with Chili de Castro, crackling and popping.
hold a key, which means that no independent researcher has ever handled a Tyrannosaurus rex bone.
Again, what do you mean independent researcher?
When people...
I know what he means. It's just ridiculous that he expects himself or another conspiracy theorist to get to touch invaluable fucking objects that they know nothing about. Like, Eric has no expertise in this. Even if they did take him in a museum into the back and they're like, here you go, here's a T-Rex fossil, what's he gonna do with it? What's he gonna do with it? Look at it and go, I don't know, the vibe is off. Like, he doesn't know what to look for. He has no education.
Unaffiliated with the paleontological establishment attempt to gain access in order to study these dinosaur bones, they are met with refusal upon refusal. Only around 2,100 dinosaur bone sets have been discovered worldwide.
Homoerotic Race Car says, gotta go, happy pride everyone, say yes to drugs, HRT, and believe in dinosaurs. It makes these conspiracy theorists seethe.
And out of these...
I try not to do things simply out of spite. I like to have at least one other good reason.
Only 15 incomplete Tyrannosaurus rex bone sets have been found. These dinosaur bone sets have never formed a complete skeleton, but from these incomplete bone sets, paleontologists have constructed a hypothesis about the appearance of the whole skeleton, which they have modeled in plastic. If thousands of long necks and large carnivorous reptiles had really roamed the earth, we wouldn't only have found 2,100 dinosaur bone sets, but millions of bones, with ordinary people tripping over them when digging in their vegetable patches.
Fossilization doesn't happen most of the time. It's a rare process.
David Wozni wrote, when children go to a dinosaur museum, are the displays they see displays of science or displays of art and science fiction?
Displays of art that are displaying things discovered via science. Like, being a science communicator who does art is a thing. When you go to a museum and you see artistic depictions of things, that's not necessarily science, but it's science communication. It's a skill and something that's incredibly important. The idea that art and science are inherently antithetical to each other is just untrue. You use art to illustrate ideas, and science, the things that it discovers, are just ideas that you can share via art.
Are we being deceived and brainwashed at an early age into believing a dinosaur myth?
No.
Deep, probing questions need to be asked of the entire dinosaur business. There may have been an ongoing effort since the earliest dinosaur discoveries to plant, mix, and match bones of various animals, such as crocodiles, alligators, iguanas, giraffes, elephants, cattle, kangaroos, ostriches, emus, dolphins, whales, rhinoceroses, etc.
I think people would notice. Fenekagami says the concept and necessity of clearance flies over their heads. Why can't I examine the fuel rod? Why can't I play with the settings of the Hadron Collider? Seriously, think about these questions for 5 seconds, please. It's like tweeting. Put the phone down for 20 minutes and think what you're about to tweet.
etc. to construct and create a new man-made concept, prehistoric animal called the dinosaur, where bones from existing animals are not satisfactory for deception purposes. Plaster substitutes may be manufactured and used. Some materials similar or superior to plasticine clay or plaster of Paris would be suitable. Molds may also be employed. What would be the motivation for such a deceptive endeavor? Obvious motivations include trying to prove evolution, trying to disprove or cast doubt on the Bible and the existence of a god, and trying to disprove the young Earth theory. The dinosaur concept
You don't need to disprove the young Earth theory. There's no backing for it.
implies that if God exists, he tinkered with...
Am I excited for the 4K Bill and Ted and the other 4K releases? Oh, that's a hell of a release month from Shout Factory. I did see this. This is a nuts, like, let me show you. Hold on. Shout Factory is coming out with the Bill and Ted 4K trilogy, Death to Smoochie's finally coming out on Blu-ray, Observe and Report, The Last Unicorn 4K, Poltergeist 2, Pee-wee's Playhouse on Blu-ray, and Hackers 4K. I want almost every Blu-ray they're coming out with that month. It's ridiculous.
with his idea of dinosaurs for
And
a while.
Dragonheart, yes. I already have Dragonheart 4K, though, from a different company.
Then probably discarded or became tired of this creation, and then went on to create man. The presented dinosaur historical timeline suggests an imperfect God who came up with the idea of man as an afterthought, thus demoting the biblical idea that God created man in his.
However you theologically need to justify reality to yourself, it's whatever, but the reality is we have evidence of dinosaurs. How you deal with that within your own personal theology, that's your business, but you don't get to denounce science just because you find it hard to justify within your religious framework.
His own image. Type dinosaur skulls into a search engine, and you will find a variety of replicas, tailor-made dinosaurs, and museum-quality skeletons. One of the largest and most renowned suppliers of fake dinosaurs is the Zigong Dino Ocean Art Company in Sichuan, China, which provides natural history museums worldwide with ultra-realistic dinosaur skeletons made from real bones. Chicken, frog, dog, cat, horse, and pig's bones are melted down, mixed with glue.
Again, yeah, they're models.
Resin and plaster, then used as base material for recasting as dinosaur bones. They are even given intentional fractures and an antiquated, fossilized look to achieve.
Ikigami says, and all of this ignores that there are vested interests in destroying this evidence. Seriously, how much evidence has the Catholic Church alone destroyed because it was a challenge to their worldview? Norse mythology was all but lost, and all we have are rewrites that we've made to try desperately to preserve it in a way that the Catholics wouldn't feel the need to destroy.
The right effect. Their website boasts over 62% of our output goes to American and European markets, which means we will understand and are familiar with the intricacies and regulation of exporting to these regions. Since we are a partner of dinosaur museums, all products are made under the guidance of experts of the Chinese Academy of Sciences. We have gained a global sales network reaching the USA, Brazil, France, Poland, Russia, Germany, Saudi Arabia, South Korea, Thailand, Indonesia, exhibited in Peru, Argentina, Vancouver, Cincinnati, Chicago, and other places. As Alan Fiducia, University of North Carolina paleontology professor, wrote, I have heard there is a fake fossil factory in northeast China, in Liaoning province near the deposits where many of these recent alleged feather dinosaurs were found.
Ikigami says, bones don't melt, you idiot, they burn and powderize.
Or as David Wozni wrote, the possibility exists that key dinosaur bones on display have been artificially modified through sculpture and carving. Bone sculpture is not an unknown human activity. Many cultures participate in creating man-made objects out of existing bones, totally unrecognizable from the original shape. Is the dinosaur industry a customer of this sort of business?
No.
Is it possible that dinosaur skeleton replica are secretly assembled or manufactured in private buildings out of public view, with bones artificially constructed or used from a number of different modern-day animals?
No.
Why bother having any authentic original fossils at all if alleged replicas please the public? Another problem with dinosaurs is their unnatural structural dynamics. Many dinosaur skeletons and reconstructions feature bipedal monsters like the T-Rex with a forward-leaning torso and head far larger and heavier than its counterbalancing tail.
It had muscles, though. What? How do you even know that? Did you weigh the flesh? We have no way of knowing what the actual, like, soft material would be. We have the skeletal structure, but we don't know what, like, its meat parts would be, so you don't know the mass of its bottom half versus its top when it's got organs and flesh on it. What are you talking about?
Many museum displays cannot even stand up under their own weight. It is highly unlikely that...
Yeah, they're bones. How do you think bones stay together? Do you think in real life bones just stay together without, like, ligaments and stuff? Do you think you can just stick bones together like a cartoon and it'll dance around? They're bones! They need stuff to stick them together!
Beasts this large and disproportionate could exist at all. The loads acting on their skeletons are so great that calculations indicate the bones of the largest dinosaurs would buckle and crack under their own immense weight. Experts have also pointed out that dinosaurs would have to have moved much slower than portrayed in movies to prevent sudden shocks to their skeletons.
Oh my goodness, wait a minute, you're telling me that action movies aren't real life? Bumble Homestead says human skeletons, famously stable.
David Wozni wrote, "This idea of slow-moving animals does not agree with the biomechanical analysis of dinosaurs, which indicate that the dinosaurs were agile, active creatures. This is the paradox between the dinosaur's size and lifestyle. Many displays and drawings of dinosaurs appear to be an absurdity, showing a two-legged animal that would be totally off balance, with the weight of head and abdomen much greater than weight of tail, which is supposed to act as a counterbalance."
I guess what I don't understand here is that even if it came out that some of these dinosaurs that they have constructed, if it turned out they were missing like certain pieces and they were incorrect about the construction, it wouldn't change the fact that they clearly still existed. So what would your point be? I think even the people who put these things together are aware that in science your positions are tentative. It's our best understanding of how these things were put together that we currently have. I don't think they're saying we absolutely 100% know and will never be proven wrong about anything, but we know that dinosaurs existed, we have evidence of them, we have their fossils, and this is our best work at reconstructing them. What is your position, other than claiming you just think it's all fake? You are literally just saying, nuh-uh, and that's not even an argument. You're just mad that your worldview is being, I don't know, poked at slightly by the existence of dinosaurs?
Is the dinosaur industry a case of science trying to meet public desires or expectations?
No.
The movie Jurassic Park is an example of showing dinosaurs much larger than any...
Again, Jurassic Park was a movie from 30 years ago. Get over it.
...current displays in museums. After the movie came out, it is interesting to note that many articles were written asking, "Is this possible?" I can recall a report of dinosaur DNA being discovered preserved in amber, which later turned out to be false. Robin Kofod wrote, "Overall, several million..."
Do we need to cleanse? Nah, I'm fine. I think after this video we're gonna be done for the night.
Millions of dollars have been spent promoting the existence of dinosaurs through movies, TV, magazines, and comics. The world of movies and paleontology are like Siamese twins. People's view on the existence of dinosaurs is based not on firm evidence, but on Hollywood-fixated artistic impressions. Documentaries colorfully illustrate each dinosaur's characteristics.
You can certainly talk about how media shapes people's perceptions about certain things. Like, this isn't history in the traditional sense. This is prehistory. We're talking about, you know, whatever. But let's just use the word history for convenience sake. Yes, people's perceptions of historical events, of people, of creatures, of places, and events are shaped by the media that they watch of it, especially when that media is their only exposure to that concept. I would agree that is a completely separate issue than the reality of the science that studies that actual thing, event, place, creature, whatever. Popular media is not science. They are different things, and it's weird that he's trying to conflate the two. Benekagami says, the point is to put people you don't agree with in a box labeled, no need to listen. If you get one thing wrong, fall into one of their arbitrary stereotypes, they shove you in the box and walk off in, quote, victory.
Like colors, weight, and muscle mass, but Don Lessam, advisor for Jurassic Park, admits that this is pure guesswork. Consider, for instance, the question of how much these dinosaurs weigh. Don Lessam says, scientists don't know how much dinosaurs weighed. Dinosaurs are presented to the public with colorful artistic reconstructions, drawings, models, mannequins, gigantic skeletons in museums, cartoons and movies showing these beasts in explicit detail, but the fact is, from the assigning and arrangement of bones in each species, to the impossible to discern soft tissue, skin, eyes, noses, color, hairiness, texture, etc., just like the many supposed ape-man species.
How'd they get this picture of me?
All dinosaur reconstructions are 100% fictional fabrications created by invested and inventive evolutionists. They purposely present dinosaurs to children in the media to spark and bias their young imaginations toward their machinations, Cartoons like Ice Age and The Land Before Time.
Ice Age?
Movies like Jurassic Park and Dinosaur
Ice Age didn't even have dinosaurs until like the third movie.
Island. Coloring books, dolls, plastic toys, elementary school textbooks, and huge displays in children's museums certainly have an effect on budding young minds. National Geographic and the Ice Age movies were produced by Mason Rupert Murdoch's News Corp and
oh boy!
20th Century Fox. The Masonic production company Universal Studios created Jurassic Park and The Land Before Time. They are owned by Comcast, whose main shareholders are Masons J.P. Morgan and the Rothschilds. Discovery Channel, which features many dinosaur documentaries, is also financially advised by N.M. Rothschilds and Son Limited. Former paleontology student Michael Forsell claimed on a radio interview with leading paleontologist Jack Horner that he was a total fraud, fabricating evidence and perpetuating the myth of dinosaurs. He continued on saying, "I started my career in the field of paleontology."
Did I catch him hinting he thinks sparking imagination is bad? I mean, in this context, he certainly does because he thinks it's fiction.
Only to leave my studies once I realized the whole thing was a sham. It's nonsense. Most of the so-called skeletons in museums are actually plaster casts. They even do it openly on documentaries now, preserving the bones.
Again, acting as though it's not hidden.
I struggled as a student mainly because I could not tell the difference between a fossilized egg and an ordinary rock, and of course there is no difference. I was treated like a leper when I refused to buy into their propaganda, and
Kinda sounds like you're just bad at that, and there's a reason that you didn't succeed in that field.
promptly left the course. Dinosaurs never existed.
I failed out of paleontology, therefore paleontology is fake. What an interesting story of bitterness. You can't fire me. Your whole study is fake.
Whole shebang is a
I didn't want to be a paleontologist anyway. You're all just
freak
liars.
show. They just grab a couple of old bones and form them into their latest Frankenstein's monster-like exhibit. We are all being fooled, and it's wrong, but together we can stop it. Many claim that since dinosaur fossils have been radiometrically dated to be tens of millions of years old, that their authenticity is thus proven. The fact is, however, that the methods used to date dinosaur fossils involve not measuring the actual fossils, but the rocks near where they are found. Most fossils are found near the surface of the Earth, and if a modern-day animal were to die in the area, paleontologists would be likely to date them the same age.
No, they wouldn't, because they're paleontologists, and it's their job to know how to do this thing.
Dr. Margaret Helder, in her book Completing the Picture, a handbook on museums and interpretive centers dealing with fossils, she writes, "Scientists used to be very impressed with the potential of radiometric for coming up with absolutely reliable ages of some kinds of rocks. They do not feel that way anymore. Having had to deal with numerous calculated dates which are too young or too old compared with what they expected, scientists now admit that the process has many more uncertainties than they ever would have supposed in the early years. The public knows almost nothing about uncertainties in the dating of rocks. The impression that most people have received is that many
Opinion on the Prehysteria series. That's actually a good question. Those were put out by Moonbeam, Charles Band's children's label under Full Moon Features, the company that did the Puppet Master and Demonic Toys and Ginger Dead Man movies, amongst many, many others. They're fun. I like Full Moon's movies. Even if they're bad, they generally have cool little creatures or like practical effects. I like them. The dinosaurs are cute.
rocks on Earth are extremely old and that the technology exists to make accurate measurements of the ages. Scientists have become more and more aware, however, that the measurements which the machines make may tell us nothing about the actual age of the rock.
Benikagami says, "Hey dude, why don't the cops assume a skeleton at a crime scene is just a caveman?"
One of the main reasons that evolutionists needed the existence of dinosaurs was to answer the complicated problems present in the theory of evolution, including
Dollman, Trancers rules.
dwelling animals evolving
Tim Tomlinson is Jack Death.
into land dwellers, reptiles evolving wings, feathers, flying and becoming birds, as well as other reptiles evolving warm blood, live births, breasts, and becoming mammals. through their imaginary multi-million-year timeline and a variety of supposed transitional dinosaur forms, the paleontological establishment has been promoting various sea dinosaur, reptile/birds, and reptile/mammals to bridge these gaps. Many professionals and experts in the field have disputed such findings as often as they have been presented, however. Dr. Storrs Olson.
Okay, I think I'm done with him. I think I'm done for the day, because holy shit, these dinosaur people are frustrating.
Well, very simply, before the flood, dinosaurs lived in a very, very high oxygen environment, but after the flood, they were in terrible trouble because their nostrils were simply not well adapted for breathing in a low oxygen environment. Now, I don't know if you've heard about, in England, we talk about St. George and the dragon. And dragons, not much is known about them.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that's known about dragons, Richard. They're not real. They're...
Yeah. Watch the trailer for Prehysteria as a cleanse. That seems about right.
You wouldn't believe me if I did tell you. Look, I don't want to get prehysterical here, but I think I'm going to change the course of natural history. I'm going to be a very, very rich man.
Monica! Where's the cooler, Monica?
If you're thinking of generic 90s kids movie, they basically were the people that did that. Moonbeam Entertainment distributed so many direct-to-like VHS kids movies. If you're thinking of a movie in the 90s that was a kids movie and you're like, I can't remember that movie, it was probably Moonbeam. Like, remember Magic Island, where the kid finds a pizza tree? Moonbeam. Remember the kids movie with Jack and the Beanstalk, and they climb the beanstalk, and it's like a 1950s house with giants? Moonbeam. Pet Shop. Moonbeam. Nah, I don't think it's the kid from Small Soldiers.
What's going on?
He just got kissed on the tush by the king. You're kind of cute.
That's impossible. You ain't seen nothing yet. Oh, cool, it talks.
That wasn't a very 90s trailer.
The world premiere.
There you go. That's a 90s trailer.
Of an action-filled family adventure.
Behold! I give you prehistoric life! Where are my babies? Where are my eggs?
Prehysterians. Exclusively on video cassette.
Yeah, they did 3 of those movies. They did a Prehysteria 2 and 3. Pretty sure none of the characters returned for the second one, except for the puppets.
Except for one small problem.
God help us, he has returned.
But the baddest kid in town
Stay back, Warden. I'm armed and dangerous.
is about to get a whole new attitude
Baby dinosaurs.
from 5 amazing creatures.
Jack, Madonna, and Elvis? Rock and roll dinosaurs. Outstanding.
The third one might be the one with the girl.
Now he's teamed up with a girl from the wrong side of the tracks.
It really is one of those Mad Libs movies. And he teams up with a girl from the wrong side of the tracks.
You are the
strangest looking drifter I've ever seen in my life, pal. You got more leather on you than a cow's butt.
To keep the world from discovering
She's going full Eponine. Never go full Eponine.
their secret.
On my own, with no one here beside me. Okay, I need to do the raid. What am I even doing now? What am I doing? I'm just fucking talking. I was asked to raid someone. Who was I asked to raid? I forget. Who recommended someone and who was it? Toreador says, I dreamed a dream of dinosaurs. What are any of us doing? I don't know. You're still singing? You're welcome. Prisoner 24601. Your time is up and your parole's begun. You know what that means. Yes, it means I'm free. Okay, I don't think the person's here anymore that recommended someone, so I'm gonna do VC Archives. I'm sorry I forgot. Remind me next time, and I'll do the raid to the person that you told me. Oh, wait. Is that who it is? No. That's a joke. Okay. Oh, it was paleontologizing, but he's done. Okay, well, next time he's live and I am, let me know. Have a great night, everyone! See you tomorrow for Tinfoil Tuesday. We will not be covering dinosaur deniers, but we will be covering other conspiracy theorists, so that'll be fun. We'll cover maybe CC's feelings on the Trump trial, among some other things. See you then! Have a good night, everyone.